Alrighty. Let me know when you have everyone in.
Everyone is in.
Okay. Good evening. Tonight's Monday, June 7th, 2021, regular Board of Ed meeting called to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Ms. Beaver is going to do that tonight.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, and with that, we have roll call, please.
Okay. Let's go through this. We'll start with Deborah Ott.
Here.
Beth Scott.
Here.
Gloria Thompson.
Here.
Crystal Beaver.
Here.
Rebecca Chambliss.
Here.
Mark Holcomb.
Here.
Cindy Holder.
Here.
All present, we have quorum.
Alrighty. Next is public fundamentals. Public input is fundamental to the operation of Madison District Public Schools. Our public has an opportunity to speak at every Board of Education meeting. A period of time known as public comment is set aside at each meeting to give parents and other citizens a chance to speak directly to the board about school-related topics. Anyone who wishes to speak must be acknowledged. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. School employees will not use this forum to discuss job-related topics. The Board of Ed accepts comments made during public comment from anyone who follows these guidelines. Public comment is one of the many information sources that the board uses before making decisions in the best interest of the children who attend Madison District Public Schools. The board also works with district staff to address citizens' questions and concerns. And with that being said, do we have anybody that wishes to be acknowledged?
Yes, me, Crystal Whitley.
Okay, hang on. Are we ready, Mary?
Yes, we are. I have 4 hands up. I
Okay.
have, we can start with Alicia Robinette.
Okay. All right, Alicia Robinette, you have the floor.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, there we go. Okay, tonight I'm speaking on behalf of Steve Basler because he couldn't make the meeting tonight. Good evening, my name is Steve Basler. I live at 26377 Cousins, Madison Heights, 48071. Good evening, trustees and people in attendance. I would like to shed some light on a couple of topics tonight. 1, the roof at the high school. After almost 3 years of the board and superintendent have known about the roof leaks, they have only recently decided to do some patchwork in February, I believe. Then when photos of leaks in ceiling tiles were released to the public June 1st or 2nd, a letter was sent out by superintendent June 3rd to say basically that the photos were false and there isn't any issue. And furthermore, the public could tour the facility approximately 1 week later. June 4th, people were on the roof. Why schedule a week later? Is it because that will give you time to change some ceiling tiles and spruce up the affected areas? Let's not confuse effort with results. 2, there are a couple of trustees who have sat on the board who have brought nothing to the table in almost 3 years, yet they act like they are doing a superb job. These ladies are driven by their egos. They claim and have stated we are here for the children on numerous occasions, but the way they vote on topics tells us otherwise. Since the only thing you have contributed to the district is the demise by chasing families away, it's a no-brainer you should probably step down. These 2 ladies also have voted no to bond proposals that the district desperately needs for infrastructure repairs. Gave the superintendent a highly effective rating twice. The first rating was from numbers produced the previous year, which were Mr. Speck's numbers. You couldn't possibly evaluate on the couple months after Mr. Speck. This shows complete incompetence. Remember, perception is reality. The surrounding districts are thriving and our district has taken a back seat. We are losing teachers and administrators at an alarming rate. Our district has 4 buildings and we are losing 2 administrators. I wonder why. Could it be the conditions of the building or lack of programs offered? Could it be the way they are treated by their boss? Or maybe a lack of pay compared to neighboring districts? Instead of overpaying the super who is failing miserably, maybe we should be sharing the wealth with our educators and administrators.
Holder.
Ma'am, I'm pretty sure it's my 3 minutes. I'd appreciate if you didn't interrupt me.
You have about 30 seconds left.
I'm good now, but I would appreciate when
Okay,
we're
thank
speaking
you.
that they don't interrupt us. That's rude.
Okay, thank you. And next, I'm sorry, Ms. Kennedy.
Hold on 1 minute.
I
Crystal,
have an Annalee Basler.
Mary,
Yes.
Crystal keeps raising her hand, but she don't have it pushed on the, her hand up in the computer. So don't forget her too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Enemy Basler, you have 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, Board of Education. I would like to start this off by saying, as a student in the district going to Madison, I am extremely disappointed in the lack of effort put forward in making sure the high school is under the correct conditions for us to be attending every day. There's been mold on the ceilings due to leakage not properly being repaired, or leakage throughout the schools on rainy days, and even sometimes days when there is no rain. Even staff sees a problem and finds it quite disgusting. As a student, I kept myself informed during the election and briefly remember a few now current trustees running together stating that they would not be passing bonds due to raises in tax dollars. That does not make sense to me since Madison District has the lowest tax prices in Oakland County. But as a student, I don't understand why the school board wouldn't want to provide students with a safe and clean environment. Some students deal with asthma or are allergic to mold, so the moldy ceilings not being taken seriously would be endangering students' health. I'm sure most of you have kids. As a parent, wouldn't you want your child to go to school without fearing them having an asthma attack or an allergic reaction due to ceilings not being taken care of? If you cannot take care of a building the correct way, simply shut it down. This leads me to the next thing I would like to talk about, AC units at the high school. Each teacher has their own personal AC units, although some of them cause an outage, leading teachers to have problems connecting to the Google Meets for the virtual students. With this happening, the teachers who have that problem are forced to keep the AC units off in order to be able to teach class for virtual students. This is also a problem for students who struggle with asthma. Not only do they have to wear masks on hot, muggy days, making it harder for them to breathe, but they now have to worry about the mold. Now, obviously, there's nothing we can do about masks at the moment, but as the Board of Education, I do expect something to be done for the students for once. I would like to end this by asking any board members who currently do not have kids in the district, would you send your children to Madison High School knowing the conditions we attend school in? That's all.
Thank you. And next up, Mary.
I have Amy Lewis.
Okay, Amy Lewis, you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Board of Education. I've lost my voice over the weekend, but I hope you can hear me. You stifle others and don't hear their voices. You stand mute in discussions. You want 45 for your choices. What's your reason, the season, or the message even? How can you be involved when no issues are solved? You should be there for the care and not simply the stare. You should listen to the public, the subjects, the upset. Who are your stakeholders? Who do you vet? If education is key to advancing the world, why don't some of you give it a whirl? Research and read. Due diligence is needed. These students are seeds. They are flowers, not weeds. Is your lack of ability something we must accept? Do you expect your constituents to ignore your inept? How are those skilled trades? How's that time theft evolved? How's those goals, those bylaws? Have you got anything solved? A group that excuses, refuses, ignores, and abuses with a super who plays favorites with ones he just uses. Understand that many who watch and observe are smart enough and wiser and think of lack of skills as absurd. The intentions are far less than super. He says and trust him, yet he deceives your whole group where lack of empathy or understanding. It's the way that he rolls. The exodus is happening. It's taken its toll. Parents are frustrated, kids crying at home, but your tone has shown they're all on their own. Ask Berkeley, Lamphere, Royal Oak, and HP, and you'll hear why Madison kids are moved there to succeed. And the reason none of you know of these things is you've shown you ignore and prioritize your own needs. So if you don't have the passion or drive or abilities we seek, you're simply dead meat, and really give up your seat. As for him, he's certainly not one of the best in our state. And as voters, well, we can see our mistake. It's that we have board members in a super with no abilities or drive, a district of hypocrites, and that's through our students' eyes. Thank you.
All righty, thank you. And next up, please.
Crystal Whitley, please.
Crystal,
Yes.
you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. I would like to address you guys about what's going on with my brother in the school here. I understand you guys have a leaky roof and stuff. Everybody's been sending everything to me, but I want to talk to you about how they forgot that my brother is autistic. And Mr. Hernovich had, we gave him the paperwork, and he also destroyed it.
You can't use any names here. You can't
Okay,
use
well,
any names.
one of your colleagues have gotten rid of the paperwork, and now my brother has to suffer, go back to school for a whole nother year. And when I call the Board of Education or the school, I get pushed around, or my mother gets pushed around. I want it to be handled the right way. Not sit here and tell me that everybody's gonna call back or this or that, or people on the board that actually don't give a crap about our children's education. I give a crap about children's education. I went to Madison. I know how bad Madison is. I had siblings that went to Madison. That roof was worse than more than 3 years. I can tell you that because I went to Madison. Nothing's being done. You got teachers that's telling parents it's above my pay grade to help your children. That's uncalled for. It's not it's not nice at all. I'm here to defend my brother and my mother because we have called you guys. We want answers, want to know what's going on. We got nothing. Now you guys are sitting here trying to fix the roof or have people outside of Wilkinson with trying to save the roof. But what are you guys actually doing for our children? Nothing. Since COVID, your teachers are not helping the kids at all. And I know that for a fact because my brother, he's autistic. He's autistic, he's bipolar, he's severe depression, he's ADHD, ADD, OCD, but yet he's not in the programs that he needs to be in to graduate at all. And that is not something that I'm going to take lightly or laying down. I want something happen to accommodate him. And he's being told he's going to get kicked out of school and stuff like that. No, you guys have no child left behind. So what happened to that? What happened to the teachers that are there to help, there to strive to make the kids a better future? Your teachers in your high school are not doing that at all. And I have a witness on that because my brother is 17 years old, not getting his help.
Okay, ma'am, you have your 3 minutes, and Mr. Abdullah has heard all of what you said, and I would expect that he will follow this up, but thank you.
He hasn't yet.
All
I've
right,
been calling and calling
your
and
3
calling.
minutes is up. Next up, Mrs. Kennedy, please.
Is Mr. George Gale.
George Gale.
Hey, Bill. Okay, that's fine. I love you, bye. Love you, bye.
Mr. Gale.
Bye-bye.
Mr. Gale.
I asked him to unmute.
Bye.
Mr. Gale, please unmute. His hand was up.
All right, well, I see we have at least one more, so maybe we'll.
Mr. John Beaver.
Okay. Mr. Beaver, you have the floor. 3 minutes, please.
Okay. Good evening, community members, Mr. Abdullah, Board of Education. Those of you who know me know that I am generally a very positive person. I try to see the good in everything. However, tonight, I feel it's time for me to voice my concerns. We can sit and talk about the roof until we're blue in the face. Everybody knows it's failing. We know about the failing infrastructure. We know about the critical infrastructure underneath the failing roof, the electrical systems, the lighting systems, the computers, the network switches, all that kind of stuff. My biggest concern is the more valuable assets that sit underneath that roof is our students and our staff. They are the ones that are the most at risk. While we can replace electrical systems and lighting systems and a roof, we can't replace a student that falls ill and can't attend our schools anymore. Covering up the issue with new ceiling tiles or patchwork, it doesn't fix the problem. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a critical wound. Approximately 2 years ago, I went on record to say that I will support anyone that supports our students and staff. I still stand true to that statement. Those that support our students and staff have my full support, no matter what your last name is or your life views. However, I now feel that the majority of the board does not support our students and our staff, only in perception, whether it is in actions taken to shoot down bonds, small bonds at that. I'm trying to be as nice as I can about it, but I've heard it said earlier by someone else, perception is reality. Whether you want the perception of your legacy as a board member to be what it is, the fact is what it's perceived as now will become the reality. I know that I won't get an answer tonight, but I would like to know in the future, as there's many families like mine. We have 5 kids that attend our district. What incentives, what reasons would I have to keep my kids attending Madison District Public Schools? What do you guys have to offer my children that other districts do not? And the fact that I even have to consider other options is embarrassing at best. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you. And next,
I
Mary.
have Nanette Basler.
Nanette, you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. I am a parent of students that attend Madison High School, as most of you know by now. I am concerned with the conditions of the building that have continuously gotten worse over the last 3 years. I do not believe that the Board of Education and Superintendent are taking the situation at the high school seriously for the following reasons. 1, Board President communicated in a meeting that campaign promises were more important than approving a bond for critical infrastructure. That causes people to have the perception that our children's health is not a priority and is less important than campaign promises. 2, we need a bond, not a sinking fund. A sinking fund will not cover immediate expenses. 3, there is no urgency and public follow-up regarding the bond. 4, no town hall regarding the possibility of a bond or sinking fund have been brought to the public. 5, a survey went out to some parents, employees, and community members, but not all. The survey was asked to be completed without the district communicating the needs truthfully. 6, we are going on 1 year since the superintendent originally presented the bond proposal with no plan. 7, first stage of the bond approval process passes 4-3, then the excuse was used in the second vote to vote it down because, again, the superintendent didn't do his job. Again, kids suffer and dodge rain buckets and have black stuff dripping from the ceiling as they walk through the hallway. 8, there has been no public follow-up on the mold situation. The public doesn't believe that the roof is a priority because the roof that requires a bond is not being considered by the majority or being discussed publicly. In addition to a roof at the high school, we also need a new boiler system and air conditioning. It is unbelievably hot in buildings during the warm months and perfect environment for mold growth, given the circumstances with the condition of the high school roof. The boiler does not heat the entire building in the cold months and doesn't adjust by temperature, among other issues. It is pretty sad when SETSEG, the insurance company, is considering not covering any damage caused by the boiler system or the roof due to neglect of handling these issues. I'm asking for this Board of Education to seek a bond on the November ballot and fix these issues as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mary,
Do not see any other hands, no.
Oh, wait, I see a Liz. Visually, I see a Liz. I don't see any yellow hands.
No.
Mary, it's Liz Malama.
Go ahead.
How you doing?
Good. I do just want to briefly state that in regards to the roof being handled, I would appreciate if that could be looked into.
Me personally, I'm out of district, but I'm trying to keep my kid in with district. As my child grows, she's got type 1 diabetes. She can't be in heat, humidity, things like that. We're finding that out more and more now, that for me to send her back to school, these are all things that I cannot send her back to, especially that. I mean, we're finding that more and more. So I really hope, in all actuality of all of you as school board members, you're looking to all the students, not just certain students because you have issues with certain parents. I'm praying to God that you look at all of it, because health is issues here. You're talking about someone's health, and you want me to continue sending my kid to your school and your districts to continue making more money, then I would hope you would look into all this. Thank you.
Thank you. And we want to give George Gale one more try.
I asked him to unmute. Mr. Gale, if you'd like to speak, please unmute.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Gale?
Yeah.
Yes. I graduated from medicine back in the day when my graduating class was about the size of the whole student body now. And I think it's really terrible that the superintendent, I don't want to bring it up, but he makes so much money, he should fix the roof out of his pocket, to keep his job. That would be a good thing. Someone may, he makes way too much money and the roof needs to be fixed. I went there in 77, the 70s. Hello?
Hi, no, we're listening.
Yeah. And it was a great school. And then I went to Florida and I came back here, and now I'm worried about my, alma mater, if that's what you want to call it. Something's got to be done. And I believe his 250 is way too much. Way too much. And every time I see a picture of him, he looks like he's stoned. And that's just me.
All right. Yeah, we don't want to talk disparagingly about someone.
Well, no, I'm just saying that something's got to be done. And I have a lot of friends there in the district, and it's going the wrong direction. For a couple of years since I've been back from Florida, it's going bad. Okay, I'm glad you gave me some second opportunity, but yeah, I have friends that send kids there and they want to take them out. What is it's 297 students. Now I had 247 in my graduating class. We had 1,200 in the school then. What happened? What happened? Hello?
This is public comments. Your 30 minutes are up, but we're not allowed to respond at this time. This is public.
Okay. All righty then.
We are listening to you, but we're not supposed to say anything.
Just saying what happened to my district.
Okay, thank you very much.
All
Mary,
right.
have anyone else that's
Yeah, I have someone, Madison Heights Wolverines.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, this is actually Linda Dempsey. I'm sorry about that. So just to correct that, this is Linda Dempsey, and I'm a parent of our child in the district. And I just wanted to speak out really quickly and say that I wanted to thank the community members who are working really hard to be transparent and to spread important information to the public so that they're aware of the needs of the children in the district. I can imagine that it's really difficult to speak up and feel personally attacked sometimes for doing that, but I do greatly appreciate all those efforts and the hard work. And I also would like to thank the board members, Rebecca Chambliss, Beth Scott, and Crystal Beaver for representing the children and the parents of the district and working for the best efforts of the parents and of the district. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mary Kennedy, do we have anyone else?
Nope, that was it. Do you want to wait a minute or so, or there's no other hands up?
No, Mr. Abdullah, do you see anybody that's waiting to be acknowledged? We don't want to miss anybody before we move on. No.
I don't see any hands up.
Okay. With that, we're going to close the public comment portion of our meeting and move on to Superintendent Report.
Good
First
evening.
is, oh, go ahead. I was just going to say, first is the recertification back to school COVID-19 plan.
Right, Madam President, the only difference we're doing in our recertification is that we removed the restriction of face masks for outdoor activities, such as any ceremonies, graduations, prom, recess. We removed those based on the June 1st guidance. Everything else is still in place. We figured we wouldn't change anything right now, having less than 2 weeks of school yet left.
Alrighty. And so we don't need a motion for that. That was.
Yes, we do.
Oh, we do.
We do.
Okay.
Would you like to read?
Yeah, because
Okay, so this would be recommend that the Board of Education approve the recertification of the back to school COVID-19 plan for the month of June with the addition of removing face masks for outdoor, outdoor activities based on June 1st guidance from the state.
Ms. Holder, I'll make the
Yes.
motion. I'll make the
Thank
motion
you.
that we,
Alrighty.
And I'll second it.
Mr.
Welcome.
Sorry, Mr. Holcomb, sorry. I'm writing and I can't think beyond writing. Made support, and with that discussion, please. Scott, I see your hand. Go ahead.
You're muted.
Mr. Abdullah, when, well, this is every 30 days, correct?
It's the first, we do it the first board meeting of the month, so it's approximately every 30 days, yes.
Okay, so can you tell me the next day that we'll be voting on this? The reason I'm asking is I'm concerned about masks inside during summer school.
This will be the last one. School will be over in July, and the guidance for summer school is different. So we will present you that guidance for summer school. But this one will be the last one that you'll take action on. And then,
Okay.
Yeah.
So
for summer school, the guidance will be different.
okay, but will we know that before summer school starts?
Yes.
Or
Yeah, we'll communicate that to the parents and to the board. Absolutely.
Okay.
Before the first day of summer school.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing no hands. Mary, can we call roll, please?
Okay, Crystal Beaver,
yes.
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
Yes,
Gloria Thompson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, next on the agenda, summer school presentation.
Madam President, did you do the superintendent's report already?
Oh, you know what? I thought all of this was under that. It looked like a heading to me, like Board of Education action items. I apologize, just the way it
We-
was
we-
typed, I missed it. You go right ahead. and
Are you
start
sure
with
we
your
could, we could do the
report.
summer school presentation and then I could present
Okay,
after?
thank you.
All right. So Mary, if you could unmute and allow the presenters
It would be Felicia.
for summer school, Ms. Hemingway, Ms. Provenzzola, Ms. Trocio.
Okay.
For summer school, it's just myself and Miss Trocio.
Okay,
And I just need to be able to screen share.
You should be able to.
Okay. You're sharing your screen, but just
Wait 1 second.
okay.
Can you do yours?
I will try.
To the bottom screen share.
Yep, I know where it's at. I was getting there right now. All right. Okay, so I'm here to just present our general plans for Madison District for our summer school program. And I am Sarah Provenzzola West, principal of Madison Elementary School. Miss Sam Trocio will be on. I think she is getting logged on momentarily. She'll be on, and she will be the secondary summer school coordinator during this summer. I will be coordinating at Madison Elementary School, and Mr. Bobby Robinson will be coordinating at ECC, our early childhood building. So obviously we've been through a global pandemic recently. So due to the learning loss during COVID-19 and pandemic learning, Madison District Public Schools has planned some intensive summer school programs, as well as some additional academic mentoring and support for our summer school. District-wide, we'll provide transportation for all in-district students, those students that reside in Madison Heights, and we will provide a bus to the New Bethel bus stop that's in Pontiac as well. So we will be transporting students to summer school. We'll provide food service throughout summer school, both breakfast and lunch to students that are in school for summer school. And there will be certified staff members, all of our certified teachers, to ensure that we're aiding in the recovery of learning loss for summer school. So for district enrollment, we have enrollment for K-8. It's open to all students in the district. So we have put out to any of the families that would like to join summer school. We've opened it up to any and all families K-8. At high school, the programs are provided for students that need it for credit recovery in order to make sure that they graduate on time. There's also special education programs that will be offered at all levels. Our projected summer school enrollment is well over 200 students. We don't have exact numbers right now, but it is well over 200 students for this summer. We are trying to keep class sizes small throughout all levels of summer school, 10 students or less, in order to ensure that we have time to do small group instruction and individual work to really support our students and make up for some of that learning loss that's been experienced. We do request that all families are registering in advance so that we can make sure that we have appropriate staffing for all of the students that would like to attend. So we will have a program that's housed at ECC, and they will house kindergarten, the early childhood special education, GSRP, and Learning Tree during summer school. Learning Tree is their childcare program. At Madison Elementary, we'll house our 1st through 5th grade and our special education self-contained classes, students in 1st through 5th grade as well in there. And at Wilkinson Middle School and at Madison High School, they will do grades Wilkinson 6 through 8 and the high school 9-12 and the special education students. And that'll all be housed at Wilkinson Middle School for summer school. The secondary program will be at Wilkinson. And if you have any questions, board, feel free. I'm just gonna keep rolling through the presentation. So again, Mr. Bobby Robinson will be coordinating our ECC summer school program. He will be the administrator that's in throughout the summer. Kindergarten summer school is going to be aimed at those students that are transitioning up to 1st grade. Our GSRP is for our preschool age students. ECSC is for our early childhood special education. And again, Learning Tree is before and after school care and also providing summer camps. They will provide before and after summer school care for the Madison Elementary students whose parents opt in or register for Learning Tree. We will focus on academics of the academic focus will be mathematics and literacy, with literacy including science and social studies content topics to make sure that we touch on everything. Our primary focus will be focus standards on math and literacy. And then again, literacy will include those science and social studies content topics for reading and writing. And then also social emotional learning, which is something that's very important, especially with some of the turmoil and trauma that families have been through during this time. So our kindergarten program and our early childhood special education program right there on top, they're going to be running concurrently at ECC from June 28th to June 29th. They'll be running 4 days per week. Our kindergarten program will run from 8:30 to 12:30. We'll end with lunch and parent pickup after lunch. They're going to have 3 classes of kindergarten students, again with 10 students or less per class. And ECC, they're running 2 sessions of that so that they can ensure that their classes are smaller class sizes to support the special needs of those students in the early childhood special education. After July 29th, that following week, GSRP will begin their summer school program, and that will be 6 students or less in 2 different classes running from 8:30 to 12:30, following the similar schedule as kindergarten did. And again, Learning Tree will be available, and at standard summer rates, there is a fee for Learning Tree because it is childcare, and students attending MES will be bused back and forth from Learning Tree, the ECC building, to MES in order to attend summer school if they're signed up for Madison Elementary summer school. Our daily schedule at kindergarten and GSRP for the preschool program looks something like this. They're going to have breakfast in the morning, focus on some phonics, have their calendar, and focus on days of the week and months. They're going to, phonics is their literacy and literacy instruction, letter sounds, blending, segmenting, literacy math, and then they'll end with their lunch and parent pickup. For our instructional programs for ELA and literacy, they have this response to intervention program that's purchased for the kindergarten, and also a Terra West curriculum for English language arts. And mathematics, again, an RTI program and Terra West math curriculum. And social emotional learning, actually kindergarten through 5th grade, we're going to be using the same program at the elementary school. It's a second step curriculum, and it's the special part of the program called Out of School Time. It's specifically made for either an after school program or during summer school, and it's a program that focuses on community building, growth mindset, goal setting, emotional management, empathy, and kindness. And Madison Element, that's all I have for ECC's program. If anybody has any questions about early childhood.
I just have one that probably is a little, maybe even tough to answer right now, but Learning Tree is so very important. And yet I know we were having a lot of problems with the payment and things like that. I'm going to assume at this point we have some sort of process in place for that, so that we don't.
I know that Mr. I know that Mr. Robinson has been very diligent about ensuring that the payment procedure has been fine-tuned. He's worked very hard on that for over the last year or so, or year and a half that he's been in that position to be over Learning Tree. Maybe it's 2 years now. And he's been working very diligently to make sure that all of the billing procedures are in place appropriately, and they're making sure that they're contacting the appropriate people. So I have every faith that he's going to be able to take care of that. Yes.
Great, thank you.
Doing a good job. Okay. So Madison Elementary. We are going to have our summer school program for both our first through fifth grade in general education classes and our special education self-contained, they're going to mirror the same schedule. The week prior to our summer school program with students starting, we're going to have some planning and professional development for the teachers, a summer school orientation day, and then, and that's the very first week after we get out of school. Our school year ends June 18th, and the following Tuesday, we're gonna have some PD on the summer school program that the board approved at, I believe, the last meeting, Achieve 3000. And they'll have some PD to make sure that that's implemented. And we'll have a summer school orientation day to give the parents information about our whole summer school program. 28th through the 29th will be our intensive summer school program where the students will be in from 9 a.m. till 1:30 each day, 4.5 hours a day, 4 days a week. There will be teacher planning time at the end of each day to ensure that they're prepared to instruct the students the following day. And there'll be no school on July 5th in observance of 4th of July. Following our intensive summer school program, the next 2 weeks, weeks 7 through 8, are going to be a summer school mentoring and summer drop-in reading program. From 9 to 12, 2 days a week for 3 hours, we will have our media center open and students will be able to drop in. There will be certified teachers in the media center who will help students pick out books at their reading level to make sure that they are right at the students' levels so they can effectively read and take those books home, read with their parents, come back a next day or another day, one of the other days that the drop-in reading program is open, exchange the book if they like, or look for another one that is right at their level and in their interest area. And they'll be able to just keep up on that reading throughout the summer because it's very important to combat that learning loss. So at Madison Elementary, our summer school, we're going to have 2 sections for each grade level. No more than 10 students per class, again, to allow for small group and individual attention. Special education students who receive learning resource who aren't in a self-contained class, we will have a qualified, certified special education teacher who will provide learning resource for those students based on their goals. And our self-contained special education students will follow the same time and attendance summer school schedule as all of our other students, and they will have their current self-contained teacher there during the summer. And those who receive OT-PT, I didn't put this on the slide, but those who receive those special services, that will be arranged for during summer school as well. Let me just click here. Okay, there we go. Again, our academic focus will be math and literacy, with our literacy including science and social studies content. And that second step for social emotional learning, we'll use our second step curriculum. We will have time built in the day for breakfast, for lunch, math and ELA, and social emotional learning. And there's a stagger between social emotional learning and 2 different recesses because we have 2 sections of each grade level to ensure that not all of the students are using the same areas at once. So, and then parent pickup by 1:30. And our self-contained students will follow similar schedules, but they will have time for their individual IEP goals to be worked into their school day. There will be a para in the class to support them. Again, we we included in our summer school application Achieve 3000. The board approved that, us ordering Achieve 3000. They have an intensive summer literacy program that's part of that online tutorial program that works with their literacy program. There is a pre-assessment built in for the students to see right where they're at, and then it knows that they're on a summer school schedule, so it provides them intensive summer school literacy instruction. And there's also a Smarty Answers for the younger kids. That's for the 1st and 2nd graders. And the Literacy Achieve 3000 is for 3rd through 5th grade. There's also that Achieve Mathematics that came with the program. We also have a Math for Love summer school program. That's a problem-solving game-based program, and we'll be using hands-on manipulatives to support that in math. And then again, our second step summer school program with the same units that ECC will be using. Then our drop-in summer school mentoring and reading program. Again, there's going to be certified teachers there Tuesday and Thursday. It's 3 hours for those 2 days a week. And there will also be a book reading during that time. We have received grant funds from Open Schools this year, and we have used that to expand our library of inclusive books that represent all different types of people. And there will be book readings during our drop-in summer reading program. And I believe that that is it for the elementary program, if anybody has any questions about elementary. Okay. Did Ms. Troshio make it on?
Yeah, I'm here. I can't,
Okay, all right.
my video is disabled. I can't, it was a host setting, so.
If you talk, I'll just flip through the screens.
Okay, so the Wilkinson, it will be in two parts as well. So we have, we'll be planning before we get out of the school year. And so we'll be meeting after school. We have been meeting and we'll continue to meet up until the end of the school year. So we have our summer school intensive program. So it'll be, there's 4 certified staff members that will be running it 9 to 1, and then we will have the teacher planning time for reflection and kind of any tweaking of the activities or progression, things like that. And then August 2nd through 13th, same as the elementary, we have the 2 days a week, and we're going to do a project-based learning. And so we will have, it's a STEM or STEAM because it includes art and design, but the students will be making robots and designing different sculptures that they can make using Legos and Connects and things like that, kind of tying that math and science into it. So that'll be 2 days a week. So the next slide, please. So this is kind of the daily schedule for the intensive one. So you see, as you can see, we've broken it up into basically hour by hour. So when we say reading, we're talking about helping the kids find books at their grade level, getting them really engaged and something that they want to keep reading, a book that they'll finish. Literacy, so we're talking about writing and also research. We have some project-based plans for students to research and create presentations on things they find interesting, teaching them computer literacy and how to do research and really utilize a lot of those tools that we've been using via Google over the last year. Then we have the social emotional component as well. So we have some yoga, some art, we have different activities planned. We also have, you can see every other day sports. We have Mr. Jarboe, who's amazing and great at coming up with different team building exercises. And then we have our math. So that's going to be practice for students, really working on those foundational skills, which we find a lot of middle schoolers that struggle with math. It's because the foundational skills need more practice. So we have kind of a holistic approach to teach the whole child. That's our plan, so that kids are engaged and we have the learning loss, but also cover the socio-emotional, because I think a lot of kids have suffered that over the past year. And so we've had, based on parent and student interest, that's what we've been hearing from the community. So we formulated our program to reflect that. So the academics, mathematics and literacy. So science, art, and math will be mixed in with the different literacy projects. But what we'll be tracking, so we'll have an assessment in the beginning, assessment at the end, is really where they're at with their math and literacy. And we have, I'm an English teacher, but the math teacher too has come up with different like 6th, 7th, and 8th assessments that we can start from beginning to end to really track their growth. And teachers will be tracking their growth weekly in those half-hour after school times. And then the socio-emotional learning. So we have different confidence and communication building activities, art, physical activities. So really looking at the whole child and how we can holistically help boost them from, some of the deficits that we experience over the past year. So Madison High School, there we go. Yeah, so it is, it'll be an intensive program and it's course recovery based. It will be housed at Wilkinson as well. And we have 2, it's all certified staff, but we have 2 teachers from the high school. And then we have a paraprofessional that's going to be helping as well. So we're planning before we get out of the school year so that when the program starts, we have everything lined up. I actually just spent 2.5 hours today calling parents and making sure that we have everything set up and making sure that the courses that the high schoolers are assigned are, what they need and will really help them graduate on time and things like that. So as you can see, it's still 4 hours teacher planning time. It's pretty much the same. And so, yeah, we plan out the time so they can do 2 Edmentum courses. It really depends on the child and what they need. But they could finish 2 different courses over the course of the time that we have. You see there's 30 minutes built in there for social emotional. So we're talking about team building exercises, getting outside, not being in front of a screen for the whole 4 hours. And we find that kids get a lot more productive that way. And you have less staring off and less disengagement when they can get some energy out in the middle. So the academics, it's credit recovery really, but there's the social emotional through team building. So as you can see, the academics are the majority of the time, but our teachers are committed to helping the high schoolers with that social emotional as well. So we do have special education services. We're super, super fortunate to have the high school special education teacher and our paraprofessional come, and they're coming over and they're going to work one-on-one with our students that are participating. And the curriculum is completely tailored to their needs and their yearly academic goals. And they will be, you know, included too in the, so like the middle school, say we're going to the park or we're building some kind of activity and the teachers are like, yeah, our students would be interested in that. We do have integration opportunities so that they're meeting their goals, but they can also, you know, people can socialize with each other and they're not completely isolated. So yeah, are there any questions for the middle or high school components?
I can't see only half of
Okay.
us, so.
Okay. So if anybody does have any questions, feel free to contact me. I'll be coordinating the elementary school. Mr. Robinson will be coordinating ECC and Ms. Trocia will be coordinating secondary.
Thank you for all your hard work in getting this together, and we know it will
Yes.
be a successful summer.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, it is. It is our pleasure.
So what they've not shared with you is that they have spent the better half of the last 3 months working with a team of approximately 20 teachers across grade level to ensure that what they're presenting to you has merit, that it supports learning loss. And I applaud the entire team, teaching staff, Ms. Provenzolo, Ms. Trocio, Mr. Robinson. I've been here since 2013. I've never witnessed, and I've done summer school every year that I've been here, whether as a teacher or principal. I have never witnessed an extensive summer school program as the one that you were just presented with. And I've never seen over 200 students enroll into different summer schools. And again, I can't speak for beyond 2013, but since I've been here, this is the most extensive. And they're trying to infuse the learning loss, but that crucial social emotional aspect as well. So if you don't have any further questions on that, Madam President, if we could proceed with Ms. Hemingway's presentation, and then I could do the superintendent's report, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. So we will move on to C. No, yes, C. Go ahead.
Would force us to construct a new structure. Do we have to construct it to the existing structure?
Hi, Mary.
Ms. Hemingway, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Mary, just make sure Mrs. Hemingway is allowed to share her screen.
Are we skipping the preschool presentation?
No, that's coming too. I'm sorry, was that supposed to be for, if the board doesn't mind, since we already have Ms. Hemingway's presentation, and then we'll do the preschool one next.
So there's no vote needed on the summer school presentation, correct?
No.
Yes, we wanted to pay the teachers $35 an hour. It'd be wonderful if the board would approve that $35 an hour rate for the teachers for the summer program.
Before we move on, then, do we have someone, I don't have the motions for this in front of me, unfortunately, so.
Yeah.
The motion
Chair?
to, yes, go ahead, Mary.
I think I'm the one that said chair, unless I didn't hear my
Oh,
name.
I'm sorry, I thought it was Mary, I apologize, go ahead, Rebecca.
I was just wondering if I could make a motion to pay the teachers $35 an hour for summer school.
And
That's what's being
support?
requested, right?
And do we have support?
Chair, I have just one quick question. I had
Can
thought
we-
I'd seen somewhere that the admins were gonna have a different pay. Do we need to approve that at the same time
Well-
with that motion, or?
We need to have a second on this so we can have discussion. And then we
I'll
can-
second it.
Mr. Holcomb is supporting. Now we open discussion. Go ahead, Ms. Beaver.
I had just was a question for Dr. Hill. Should we include in that motion, the pay for the admins as well? Since it's not in front of us, I didn't know if we should do a separate motion after this one or just amend the motion and add to it. I had thought I had read somewhere that it was a different pay for the admins. I just want to make sure we're including them.
Yes, I definitely wanted to include them. And normally it would be in their CBA, but if it is not, then I definitely want to include them at this time.
At the same rate, at the 35?
No, the admins, they make a little more than the 35.
Okay, is it possible, obviously, we want to have a number as we
The
vote.
admins, the admins, it's $50 an hour. And the teachers is 35 an hour.
So can I amend my motion to pay, that I'd like to make a motion to pay the teaching staff $35 an hour and the admins $50 an hour for summer school?
Yes, thank you.
As long as support agrees, we can change that motion.
I'll support.
Madam President,
Yes.
this is Gloria Thompson.
Hi, Gloria. Can't see you. Okay.
Am I missing something here? The first time hearing about the $35 an hour and the $50 an hour. What is the total cost gonna be on this? Do we have that in front of us?
Currently, our current costs, because the cost changes as students enroll, and those numbers are changing, but currently, we're looking at $246,960 plus the cost of supplies, plus the cost of transportation. And we'll know those final costs when we have a final cost of the number of students participating. This cost could go down or it can go up. And you're looking at, for example, for the elementary school, Sarah, she mentioned that she wanted 10 kids per course, and she's estimating 200 kids. So that's 20 teachers at $35 an hour plus benefits. That's how I came up with that. And then I added, middle school, you're looking at roughly about 41,000, and the same with the high school credit recovery program. But like I said, this amount, it'll change if we don't get the registration from the students. Of course, we won't need as many teachers. So we're still compiling registration. We're still registering kids at this point. We don't have a final number, but that's what I'm estimating right now, plus the cost of supplies, transportation. And then, of course, this is going to be paid for using 23B funding, which is grant funding. And so far, we only received the innovation portion of the funding, which is about $46,832. And then I believe MDE is waiting on the school district counts because they have not given us our totals yet, our funding yet for 23B. I believe they are waiting on our student counts first. And we have to turn in student counts on June the 15th. So that's where we stand with that. And can definitely update you as our numbers are final, our student numbers, because our student numbers are going to drive the number of teachers that we actually need.
So Edwina, let me ask you, this grant funding will cover all of this?
Definitely. We have a, 23B funding. It's based on the student count. Okay. You get like $550 per student. So that's what drives everything. So,
Okay.
it's going to be a wonderful summer program. I'm hoping that, our families enroll their kids because that's going to drive our funding. And if we get the kids, participating, we'll have enough money.
Okay.
I would say,
Thank you.
I would say, giving the learning loss, that it's worth every penny. It's worth every penny because the last 18, 19 months being off and on, and the level of engagement for those students was not at 100%. And then we also applied for credit recovery grant funding. And then the innovation funding, we got the first portion, but we are allowed to amend the agenda and reapply for further innovation, given that Wilkinson now has provided an innovative program.
Yeah, I never disagreed with the need, but just wondered where the money was coming from. Okay.
Madam President.
Yeah,
This is
Beth,
Beth.
and then go ahead, Mrs. Beaver.
Okay, so I am all for the summer school. I am all for the teachers getting the paid. I'm all for the admins. It's a wonderful thing. I don't care if it was funding or not. I'm happy to agree to pay it. What I do not appreciate is I asked this question from the superintendent. He probably wasn't aware that we really needed to take a vote, but I don't like to be surprised with these things at the last minute, that now we have to be, that this is something that we should be voted on, that we're voting on. I'm happy to vote on it, but I'm going to keep saying this for future references. I wish that we would not be surprised by stuff like this. So we're well aware of it and can ask any questions prior to and be informed. This board should never be surprised on something like this. We should know this well ahead of time. Thank you. So.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Beaver, go ahead.
I just wanted to reiterate what Ms. Thompson and Ms. Scott had said, that I'm willing to, regardless, even if we don't get all of the funding and it ends up costing us some to get the students where they need to be. But I did have a question for Dr. Hill. Is this the funding where the 550 only goes to our in-district students, or was that a different 23B or 23C? I know we had a little
they had a
confusion with that. So I didn't know if this was the funding that's only comes in for our in-district students.
No,
or...
nope. It is for all of our registered students, registered to the district.
Sure.
Those students, they qualify, if they're, our registered students.
Okay.
Of course, if you have students that are coming in, and they're from other districts, of course, we don't get any money for them.
Sure.
I thought that's what you, okay, wait, let me clarify that. I thought that was your question, Crystal.
My question was, I had sat through a MASB thing actually on the summer school, and there was some confusion, and me and Mr. Abdullah kind of went back and forth, and I believe I'm going to end up owing him an apology after all this, but we'll see. They had said that it was either 23B or 23C, if Rebecca or Beth can correct me, on the summer school funding, that the 550 would only go for students that live in our district.
Right.
But even if they're registered, but they live out of district, that we wouldn't get that 550 funding for. So I was just asking for clarification, if we had applied for the grant where we would get it regardless if they were in district or out of district.
Yeah. Yep, because I applied for the 23B. Yeah, and what some districts do, they allow students from other districts to, like, maybe participate in their credit recovery, or things of that nature. You wouldn't get reimbursed for that, but I only applied for the 23B funding. which means that, our students that, that we generate funding for, will also be supported by this funding source, the 23B.
I just want to.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
I want to say this. Once they enroll in Madison District, there are students. So whether they're out of district or in district, there are students. So whether you get the funding, you can't really exclude students. It has to be open to all. And
I agree, and I wasn't saying that we should include or exclude anybody. I was just curious on the funding portion.
Yep.
Because like I said, even if it ended up costing us
money,
I would be fine with that. I was just curious.
Dr. Hill, I have a question.
Yes.
Rebecca, go ahead. You have the floor.
I have a question. So if there are students, so when we sat in the seminar, they said that it was possible, like the student would have had to have attended our district the previous semester. So if we had a student who, let's just say, went to Lamphir last semester and they want to come to our summer school, would we allow them to come into the credit recovery or any step along the way? And if we did, I'm assuming if we did allow them, they would not qualify for grant money. We would just cover the cost of it. Like, would we allow outside students to come in for summer school?
You know what? That is a programming question. It's it has financial ramifications, but usually when you set up a summer program, you decide whether you're going to allow students that are not currently attending the district to attend, because, what they're talking about, when you take your pupil count in the spring, that's when what they're talking about when they say, did the student, attend, the semester before. So that is a programming question.
I'll answer the programming question, Dr. Hill, and you answer the finance questions. So, Ms. Chambliss, if there are resident but attend another district and say they move back to this district and try to enroll for the fall, we'll take them, but they cannot just enroll just for the summer because the program is developed based on the students that we have currently.
Okay.
Unless someone moves in, say someone just moved in to our district, then yes, they qualify for that because they moved into the district.
Yeah, and I wanted to reiterate from a financial standpoint, the money is based on your pupil count. Your pupil count, your pupil count period.
Okay.
That's how each school district goes about getting this funding. It's based on our pupil count, from the spring count. So.
Dr. Hill, I had one question for clarification.
Yes.
You said we had salaries, transportation, supplies, and benefits.
Yes.
I guess my husband taught summer school and it was always a flat rate. So what benefits are we talking about?
When you're paid a salary, we also have to pay benefit costs at about 0.47%. So the quickest way to come up with that figure, and what I mean is, whenever we got to pay for healthcare, dental, life and vision, those kind of benefits.
This would be over and above what we might be normally paying? I'm confused.
You know what? It's not over and above. It's part of the cost.
So they're getting their health benefits for the year, and they're getting a flat fee as far as their salary. I just wanted to clear that.
You know what?
It made me a little confused.
Yeah, from a financial standpoint, some benefits are covered during the year, and then there are some additional benefits that we have to pay, like ORS costs and things of that nature that are separate and different. For example, your benefits, are paid, during the year. But then, you have additional retirement benefits that have to be paid on each dollar that you make.
Okay.
And summer school is in addition to what they normally make. So we have to pay out some additional benefit costs.
Okay.
So that's kind of how that works.
All right, thank you for the clarification.
Madam,
I had a request from Mary. Can we get back maybe to the screen so I can see everyone? 'Cause I'm struggling to, I only see 4 of us here.
$57.85.
Wonderful. Now I can see if someone wants my attention. Thank you.
I have a question.
Ms. Scott, go ahead.
Dr. Hill, is there a way that you can send us something on the board, something on this, what we're talking about right now? Since we don't have anything in front of us?
You know what? I can send you a cost breakdown. That is no problem. I have it and I can send it to you tomorrow.
Okay.
And basically what we're looking at, you know, I just want to cover us. You know, you got the wonderful summer school presentation, but I like to be covered, you know, and the board approving us to pay the teachers $35 an hour for their work and the administrators $50 an hour, and you'll have it tomorrow.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, do we have any other questions or concerns? Seeing none, are we ready? Roll call vote, please, Mrs. Kennedy.
Okay. Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Crystal Beaver,
Yes.
Gloria Thompson,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
Yes.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Cindy Holder.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Madam
Okay.
President, can I interrupt? There's, I'm not
Someone,
sure if I'm the only one that's hearing this.
No. No.
Yeah, so Mary, can you mute everyone except for the school, you know, the Board of Ed?
From what I understand, the only people that are unmuted are the Board of Ed, according to my computer.
okay, well, the background noise is gone, so
Okay.
whatever it was, it's
Okay,
gone.
And Madam
Mr.
President,
Abdulahad, it's after 8.
it's 8:15. Would you like the Capturing Kids' Hearts, Madam President, or would you like a break? It's been about an hour and 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
My understanding is that we have someone that requires a break. Is 5 minutes enough?
Yep.
Okay, we have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam President.
And then we'll go back, Mr. Abdulahad. Did we want to do the preschool or did you want to get your superintendent report? And then we can keep moving right along.
Well, we have the however you want me to do it. You have your preschool, you have Capturing Kids' Heart, and then the superintendent. However you want me to proceed, we're okay with.
Okay, let's do the 2 presentations and then we'll have you take the floor.
Okay,
All
thank you.
right. All right,
Mary-
5
Mary-
minutes.
5-minute break.
Mary, don't forget to pause the
Ms. Holder? Do we have to take a vote if we go on break?
We were told no, it was clarified we did not. So that's the protocol that I'm following.
Okay, I just wasn't sure. I wanted to ask you.
We do have to take a break, or we do have to take a vote for the summer school, correct?
Right, that's next up. Yep.
Okay.
No.
No,
yes.
that's the preschool program.
Summer
It's next.
school we did. Summer school we just did.
No,
Now
we
it's
did we actually vote on it? I don't think we actually took a vote. I thought we had to vote on the 35. Oh, we did. I'm sorry. I apologize.
We
Yes,
voted, yeah.
we did. Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Madam
No
President,
problem.
Madam
Yes, go
President,
ahead.
Do you want preschool?
Yes,
Or
please.
preschool? Okay, Mr. Robinson, Mary, if you could unmute Mr. Robinson and his team
Yes.
and
one
allow
second.
Mr. Robinson to share his screen. Mr. Robinson, are you here?
I am here. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mary. Emily Byrne and Emily Tockins are also, I think she unmuted. I just saw.
Yes, I did.
I just saw one of the Emilys. So we have 2. So I just saw one.
They should both be unmuted.
Yep, there they are.
Hi, I'm here.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen here and get this set up for you guys. All right, you guys can see that?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so obviously my name is Bobby Robinson. I am the administrator at the ECC building. I am joined by Emily Byrne, who is the middle picture on here. She is our early on coordinator. And then Emily Tompkins is our speech pathologist. And we're here to present to you a tuition-based preschool program. And you know, what we're trying to do is just kind of bring kids into our district that we're kind of losing, and we'll talk about why that's happening, and hopefully we can change that. Okay, so our goal is to have a solid reputation in the community, which, I mean, if you listen to our public comments, I'm not sure that everyone agrees that we have that reputation, but if we don't, at least we're trying to bring that back to the Early Childhood Center. I'd like to think that we have a warm and comforting environment there. You know, our staff is very family oriented when it comes to bringing in our kiddos. We have a passionate staff that includes our teachers, our paras, whether it's, you know, our early on coordinators or our speech or, you know, special ed, whoever it is. I feel that everyone there is very passionate in what we do. Active learning, child-friendly facilities. If you've ever been to Halfman, the old Halfman, that's kind of changed, and we've kind of turned that into what we now call our Early Childhood Center. We're trying to create and keep enrollment. As you know, I mean, most of you know, our enrollment is kind of up and down depending on what year it is. And a lot of people believe that we're losing kids faster than we're bringing them in. So our job at the Early Childhood Center is to make sure that we get every child we can from the age 3 to 5 and keep them here and then send them off to MES. That is our goal. We want to use this as a feeder program, just as I just spoke about. And then we are trying to fill the gap year from early on to GSRP. And if you don't know what early on is, I'm going to let Emily Byrne explain a little bit about early on, because most people don't know what early on is.
It's a really well hidden secret.
Yeah, thank you.
So early on is a federally funded program. Every district in the county has it. Every school district in the country actually has it. May not be called early on though. So in Michigan, it's called early on, and it's basically special education for infants and toddlers. So from birth until age 3. Let's say your toddler's not rolling over when they should be. That might be a little red flag to you. You would get a referral for early on, and our team would help you figure out that problem. So I see my students up until they turn 3 years old. And usually that's around the time when parents are thinking about sending their children to preschool. I would love to just be able to say, hey, we have a great 3-year-old preschool program. You guys should check it out, enroll. Unfortunately, we currently don't have one. So I'm often left to just send them elsewhere. And I've often found that they typically don't come back after they've established roots in other districts or other programs.
All right. So what we have here is our kind of our roadmap on how we're trying to get this preschool up and running. Obviously, we've been planning planning the different parts of what a preschool needs to have and how we're going to furnish it and how we're going to get kids and how we're going to teach it and what kind of curriculum we're going to use. So that started a few months ago with conversations with me and with both Emily's. Obviously tonight we're at step number 2, where we're presenting to the board. Our next step obviously is, if it gets approved, we are trying to fill that classroom. And it happened today. I was just outside getting our kids on the bus, and I ran into a parent who had a couple little ones, and I just asked her how old they were. And she said, well, this one's 4 and they're going to GSRP. And I said, well, what about this little one? She said, well, she's 3. I said, well, you're in luck, because after tonight, we're going to have a preschool program, and she'll be able to, follow her siblings right through the Early Childhood Center and on to MES. And she was real excited about that. So that's, but it's going to take more than just myself to recruit kids out walking the sidewalk or picking up a sibling. Prepping the building in a preschool classroom, we have room at the early childhood. We have multiple classrooms that we kind of, use for storage or others, other things in our building. We currently have a room ready to go for our preschool. And we're using the same furniture that we've used for other parts of the building in the past. Next, we also have to get approval by the state because every room that we use in that building has to be approved by the state through licensing. I contact a lady, her name is Jennifer Litz. She comes out, she tells me, she asked me what rooms we're using. I let her know that we are using this room for preschool. She runs through, kind of the licensing process and lets me know that, okay, we're good to go, which takes some time because she's busy and it just takes her a little bit of time to get out. And then after we get there and we're good to go, we start enrolling families, which hopefully happens sooner than later. Number 7 is starting the school year with a full classroom, and a full classroom is 10 students. So that's our goal. That's our goal before August 30th is to have 10 students, because with the preschool, it comes a ratio. You can only have a certain amount of kids per adult. It's not like a high school where you can put 35 kids in an English class and have one teacher in there. Just like our GSRP, you can only have 1 per 8, or I'm sorry, it's 1 per 12. So we have over that number. So we need 2 adults in our GSRP room. So that's where we're at now. And I am blocked from number 8. I can't see it. Let me see here. Oh, there is no number 8. Thank you. Okay. Because I was blocked by all the faces. Okay. All right. Next, first and foremost, this is not childcare. This is not what we had 2 years ago. This program will follow the GSRP curriculum, which is called High Scope, which is MDE approved. Our teachers will create lesson plans. Our teachers will be trained, and you'll see later on, the days that the kids will be in our preschool. There's a day where our teachers will use that day for training and to go to professional development and meet with other teachers to collaborate and to build lesson plans and to build assessments. Our students will be monitored and assessed. They will follow the early childhood hours. It won't be a 6 in the morning till 6 at night like the old childcare was. We will follow the district calendar. We will serve breakfast, lunch, and our ratio is 1 to 10. All right. At any point in time, if Emily, Byrne, or Tompkins, you guys want to jump in, please do so. Shoot, wrong one. Okay. Why preschool? It allows an opportunity for kids to grow. We see it every year when kids who don't attend preschool or GSRP program, when they get to kindergarten, a lot of them aren't ready to go to school 5 days a week, 7 hours a day. They're not ready to write. They're not ready they have a hard time interacting with other kids. So going from 3 to 4 and then getting into kindergarten, it allows that growth to take place. And it prepares students to go from our preschool to our GSRP to our kindergarten as well. It promotes social and emotional development. The environment is structured. It is not, hey, here are a bunch of toys, let's go play for 7 hours. We come in, there's a routine every morning you come in. For example, in our GSRP program, every day the kids come in, they go move their name from either so once they see that their name is moved, it tells the teachers that they are present and in school. They start to, they learn how to hold a pencil, which may seem minute, but there are a ton of kids who come to school who don't know how to hold a pencil. So they kind of start to develop early and quickly. Children get to make choices. Children learn how to take care of themselves and others. Promotes language development and cognitive skills. Teachers nurture a child's curiosity. Activities boost pre-math and literacy skills and it helps develop motor skills.
Can I jump in and say something, Bobby?
Absolutely, go ahead.
I think, you know, with the pandemic from this past year, I know I've been having a lot of referrals of what I've been calling COVID babies, whether it's a child who's been born during the COVID pandemic or it's a child that really that's all they know. And they've been cooped up in their houses, rightfully so, to be safe. But then that leads to less socialization. So this program would also help to jumpstart, again, that social development that is so important to children learning. And in addition to all the academics that Bobby was talking about.
I want to add one thing as well, Bobby, just real quick. I just had a couple of parents all early on, parents that had kiddos aging out, which means like turning 3, who are seeking something more than just, walk-in services, because I can provide my services once a week, but they basically come in, I work with them, and I know a lot of them are looking for more than that, not just like a daycare program, but they're wanting something with curriculum that kind of has this classroom-based component to it as well. So just try to advocate for my component as a speech language pathologist that this is super important. I think this is something that the students need, especially for the socialization component, language development, cognition, all of it. So just wanted to add that.
Thank you, guys. So what we need outside of the students, which I put last, which really is the first thing we need one lead teacher, smart board. So the only money that we will spend will be on smart boards and hopefully some iPads. What we have the space, we have the classroom, we have the furniture. I mean, I don't know exactly what else is going to take place, but for the most, I mean, we have the curriculum. It's already in the building. Most of what we need is already there. We just need to fill it with children and a teacher who's going to love them. So these, so this picture is on my computer at school, and every time I go through pictures to put in newsletters or PowerPoints, I kind of come across this picture and I use it all the time because I just love the way that these guys, just look at whoever's looking at them. These are 5 of our kids from this year, and I can tell you they love it at their early childhood center. They really do. They're always smiling. They're always happy. And that's because of our staff, whether it's a para or people in the office or their teacher or whether they go to speech, whatever it is. This is what you see every time you walk into our building. So because we had issues in the past with the childcare, I know this is kind of a big deal. So what we will do, and this is a 4 days a week program for kids, 5 days a week for the staff. We're going to charge $200 a week, which if you compare that to any other preschool in the surrounding area, it's probably cheaper than Lanphier charges $350 a week. So think about that for a second. But if you read the last 2 lines, that's what it's going to provide.
Bobby, can you hear me?
Yes.
The most crucial part of this is that Emily is already seeing those early on kids. Emily, how many early on kids you have already that you're seeing weekly or on a monthly basis?
I see my students at least once a week. And right now we have, I think it's 10, and then I'm onboarding 1 at the moment. So we'll have about 11.
So if she has 10 students and right now they entrust her because she's been working with them all year, how easy would that be for Emily to say, let me introduce you to Mr. Robinson. Let me give you a tour of our preschool. And they're already used to Emily. They're used to our district. It's a real easy transition. And most kids have siblings. And our hope is to capture some of those siblings that might be in first or kindergarten or second grade we know that we're not losing students transitioning from ECC to MES. Once we have them, and the loss tends to occur between middle, elementary, 5th to 6th, and then again from 8 to 9. So we know that we could get them. And so it becomes a nice feeder program for us. Sorry, Bobby.
That's okay. Well, it's funny that you talk about that because about 3 weeks ago, Emily Tompkins has a walk-in speech kiddo, and mom literally lives a block and a half down the street, but he currently attends the 3-year-old program in Ferndale. And Emily's like, well, you know, we have a GSRP, and mom keeps telling her, hey, we're comfortable in Ferndale, we're good, we're happy. I said, Emily, next time they come in, let mom know I want to talk to her. Mom registered the next day. And I don't know how much it had to do with me as much to what I was telling her about, you know, we have a GSRP program. We have our kindergarten. It's all in this building. We have transportation for you. This is a mom who got in her car in a wheelchair and drove to Ferndale every day because we didn't have a 3-year-old program. So you can read the screen. It is a competition to see who can bring the most students. And it is a competition. We're recruiting. Everyone's recruiting to see how many kids we can bring into our district. All of our surrounding districts, Royal Oak, Warren, Ferndale, Hazel Park, all have 3-year-old programs, and we do not. So every kid who their parent is thinking about sending them to a 3-year-old preschool has to go elsewhere. And add something else that Mr. Abdullah was just saying. I went around to our GSRP today and I talked to them and I said, tell me how many siblings you have that are 3 years old. Then I went to Emily Tompkins and I asked her about her kids. And then I asked Emily Byrne. We have 10 kids right now, including the one I recruited out front of the school today, that are ready to go into that room. 10 kids already. We'll fill that room by August and be ready to go.
Bobby, sorry to interrupt. Mary, can you unmute the trustees? They have some questions and they're not able to unmute themselves. Sorry, Bobby.
Okay. Obviously, just another slide with a little, you know, just a picture and little, you know, something there that you guys can read. And then obviously, you know, that's the end of our presentation. I'll take any questions that you guys may have. Emily's here also. Both Emily's are here if you have questions for them as well, because they know, believe it or not, 2 years ago, early on meant absolutely nothing to me as an upper elementary / middle school guy. Like she said, it's the best kept secret.
It is.
Not many people know what it's all about. So they are way smarter than I am when it comes to what early on really is.
Mr. Robinson, this is Beth Scott. I have a question for you.
Absolutely.
You showed us the slide of the cost. What about the people that can't afford that? Is there a tuition?
So usually parents who can't afford a preschool or even like Learning Tree, they qualify. Some of these parents qualify for DHS, which we will accept.
Okay. And we have someone that's going to handle that, because I know previously we did not have anyone. So are you the one responsible for the DHS paperwork and you'll be billing that, or?
Listen, Miss Scott, I can only do nice PowerPoints. I can't do everything at the building. Let me slack here. No, we have, so Michelle Scott, who is our administrative assistant at the building, she has all that information for parents.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure that was, and congratulations, Bobby, to you and your team. It is a great thing. Thank you for bringing this forward.
Thank you.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Hi, it's Debbie Ott.
Hi, Debbie. How are you?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm good. Thank you.
I think this is a wonderful addition and I think it's going to do well. Do we have more rooms if this really takes off?
Well,
or are you just going to stick with 10
I
first
talk on a
year?
regular basis. Both of me and both Emily's talk on a regular basis. And we were just talking about that today, about how much room we have in that building if this thing does explode. Because what's going to happen when we fill this preschool room, we're already filling 3 GSRP rooms without a preschool.
Awesome.
So what this will do, it will just, I think in a year or two, we'll have 2 preschool rooms and 4 GSRP rooms. That's just my goal. And I think with the help of these 2 ladies, that will happen.
Thank you. Mr. Holcomb, you have your hand up?
Yes, how about the teachers and I should say our employees? Will they get cut rates or anything if they have children, our teachers?
Yeah, so we have not done that in the past. For example, well, let me say this. We have not done that as long as I've been there.
Nor are we going to do that. So let's just put that.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
we are not doing that.
Okay. Thank you.
That's how you get yourself into a debt.
Thank you. I didn't want to say that, but that's exactly what happens.
That's what happens.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Chambliss, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
I was just wondering if a family has multiple students, would they get like a discount for having multiple children attend?
So if they bring twins,
Yeah.
you know what, we haven't really thought about it. What we do for our Learning Tree program is we do give like a 20% off there. I haven't thought about that. I'm just hoping to get 10 kids in there, which I think we will have. Let me tell you, if it does come across the table or come to me with that problem, then I will I'll obviously have to speak with Mr. Abdullahad and we'll go from there.
What we're trying to do, Ms. Chambliss, is we're trying to establish longevity, because if it's not self-funded, then you get yourself in a bind. So having 20 kids and 2 teachers, or having 15 kids and still 2 teachers, it's a huge difference, right? Because you still have to pay the 2 teachers. So ideally, what we want is to have each class be at capacity. So then, the self-funding occurs.
Okay, I was just asking because I know that a lot of families, if, they don't qualify for DHS, because the stipulations to get DHS don't necessarily always represent if a family can afford things like this.
Right.
So for the families that have multiple kids and don't, qualify for DHS, this might, like if they got a small discount, at least it might help them come over.
We are nearly half the price of neighboring districts, half the price. That's not bad when someone goes up 3 blocks north of us and has to pay $350 a week.
Yeah,
Or
I
they could
only
come
know
here.
what Lanphier costs because, that's where my kids go. That's where I live. And so I had to pay that because we wanted our kids to start early. Not because we were working, my wife was home, but there's something to be, you can tell kids in kindergarten who've been to school before kindergarten.
Yes.
You can tell those kids, you can tell the way they hold a pencil, the way they line up, the way they speak to other kids, the way they speak to you, the way they walk down the hall. There's a difference in the kids who are in preschool and GSRP and the kids who just show up for the first day of kindergarten.
And Mary, could you change the screen so I could see everybody again?
Yeah, I'm all done. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Robinson. Again, they spent, Madam President, they spent hours and weeks on this presentation. So again, just want to thank them for their hard work in this presentation.
Mr. Robinson.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Ms. Thompson, go ahead.
I apologize if I missed that, but what are the hours that the kids are actually there and how many days? I heard him say 4 days a week.
Yep. So how that's going to look is Monday through Thursday, our kids will be there. They will be there from 8 to 3. Their teacher will be in the room with them from 8 to 3. On Friday, there will be no kids, and that teacher will lesson plan, collaborate with other staff members in the building, like our GSRP teachers who have the exact same schedule. My goal is to mirror our preschool program to be just like our GSRP program.
Okay.
And so they'll use those Fridays along with, collaborating and lesson planning. They'll be going to PD on those days.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna follow every program next year will be 8 to 3. Instead, this year we have GSRP that's 8:30 to 3:30. And we want to make sure that everyone is on the same schedule. It makes it easier for parents if they have multiple kids and they're not waiting around or they're not taking their kid out early when they're picking up multiple kids.
Okay. And do we have any other questions? I don't see any hands.
If there are questions that come up along the, after we're done here tonight, feel free to give us a call over there. I'll do my best at running as fast as I can to make sure I get Emily or the other Emily so they can answer those. Or you can email any of us.
Yeah. Thank you all for your work, your hard
Yes,
work.
thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Before we move on, I'm sorry, Mr. Holcomb. Ms. Beaver had a question, and then we need Mrs. Kennedy to read whatever we need to approve. Okay, go ahead, Mrs. Beaver.
That was just my question. I was just asking what the motion was that was recommended for us to vote on.
Mrs. Kennedy, you're up.
So what we have is recommended the Board of Education approve the 3-year tuition-based program to be housed at ECC as presented.
With that, do I have a maker?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, that's Scott, and
I'll second.
Mr. Holcomb is supporting. And any other discussion? I don't see any hands. Mary, can we take roll, please?
Sure. Crystal Beaver?
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss?
Yes.
Mark Holcomb?
Yes.
Cindy Holder?
Yes.
Deborah Ott?
Yes.
Beth Scott?
Yes.
Gloria Thompson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you
Good
again
job.
for your hard work.
Good job, guys.
Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next up is the Capturing Kids' Hearts presentation.
And I need to unmute Felicia.
There she is.
Hello, everybody. I am here to tell you a little bit about capturing kids' hearts and why it might be good for MDPS. There are 4 questions that I'm going to answer in my presentation. The first one is, what is capturing kids' hearts?
Alicia,
Yes.
I apologize to interrupt. Are you able to share your screen?
Oh, am I not sharing? Shoot. How about now?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so there are 4 questions that I'm going to answer. The first one is, what is capturing kids' hearts? Why it would be good for MDPS? How long will it take and what will we have to do? And then the burning question of how much it'll cost and what is included in that price. So what is capturing kids' hearts? It's a pre-K through 12th grade professional development program that is offered nationwide. It's a school level intervention that impacts student performance and behavior by enhancing school climate through improved relational and conflict management skills. The program was developed by the Flippin Group, which was founded by Flippin, and it seeks to establish a more collaborative school by providing each staff member with tools and strategies to build meaningful relationships and community within and beyond their classroom. Staff members who are introduced to Capturing Kids' Hearts will be equipped to implement transformational processes focused on 3 things: social emotional well-being, relationship-driven climate and culture, and student connectedness. They will do this through experiential training, expert coaching, and ongoing personalized support from the Flipping Group. Many schools are out there capturing kids' hearts. Let's check out this video to see how MDPS can too.
My first act as superintendent was to bring in Capturing Kids' Hearts.
When it came to behavior, we did not know how to address the issues that we were facing. So it became very hard and very difficult at times to address the needs that our students had.
Some of the struggles that we experienced early on was student discipline, teacher frustration, and lack of parental involvement. We needed help, and CKH gave us the tools for that.
I've been here since first grade. I love the teachers here. I love my friends. I didn't want to leave Arrow.
What Capturing Kids' Hearts has allowed me to do is really switch my focus and focus not on my agenda and what I want out of the student in the moment, but really on what they need. This really allowed me to really make the student feel safe and like they're cared for.
Before CKH was implemented, the atmosphere here was totally different.
The whole culture of Brazoswood High School has completely changed since starting Capturing Kids' Hearts. In my classroom, it was nice to see kids supporting each other.
The teachers here at Brazoswood are amazing and approachable. If I ever have any problems or issues, I know I can go to any of my teachers for help.
I cry each year at graduation. This happened 2 years in a row. Like, I cried because I am able to say something about each kid. You get teary-eyed because the parents know that what he's saying from his heart.
What makes me feel special about coming to Arrow is that when I come, I know that I feel comforted by all of my teachers.
Being here is their safe place, and we wanted to make sure that that culture stayed there for them. Our students know how to come together, and our teachers know how to bring them there.
What I love about the Capturing Kids' Hearts is that the learning doesn't stop right after training. Not only do they offer webinars, they have a campus strategist that you can literally text or call at any time. They have an online portal that will literally break down the tools for you and give you ideas and how to incorporate them within your classroom.
The Capturing Kids' Hearts processes work, and our students and staff are reaping the benefits through outstanding student achievement, better student discipline, and higher teacher retention rates.
It is not a program that you implement. It's a culture that you cultivate. The stronger you nurture it, the stronger it will grow. Capturing Kids' Heart made all the difference for all of our scholars. We went from a school improvement to a national showcase school for Capturing Kids' Hearts and a national blue ribbon school.
So why would Capturing Kids' Hearts be good for MDPS? The need was determined by analyzing our current office referrals and disciplinary issues, paying specific attention to the rate and reasons for each. As a second-year administrator, I noticed that many of the student behaviors that we saw in the office could have possibly been resolved or prevented if there had been a stronger relationship between teachers and students, as well as more consistent and clearly defined expectations and procedures. The transformational processes focused on in Capturing Kids' Hearts will actually attend to some of those things. These processes are focused on cultivating relationships and building trust, creating accountability, improving school climate and culture, building self-managing classrooms, fostering trauma-informed care, and improving academic performance. All things that MDPS could use. Capturing Kids' Hearts is a research-based program and has been proven to improve 5 key school performance indicators. And those performance indicators are fewer discipline referrals, improved attendance, lower dropout rates, and less retention, higher teacher satisfaction, and higher student achievement and academic success. Schools that have implemented Capturing Kids' Hearts report that they have strengthened their student connectedness to others by enhancing healthy bonds with teachers. They have consistent rules of conduct with reduced disciplinary escalations and referrals. They now have a dramatic reduction in truancy and dropouts. They've reduced negative behaviors like isolation, violence, and substance use. They have a significant improvement in student academic performance. They have district-wide improvements in their test scores, a higher rate of job satisfaction among teachers, and increased teacher retention and improvement in teacher recruiting. When school administrators provide ongoing training for principals and teachers in the district by design, that I'm going to talk about next, the process infuses the entire district with a sense of loyalty, belonging, and enthusiasm for learning. So what's the process and how long will it take? It's actually set up in phases, and those phases are spanned over a number of years, actually. The first year is what we'll be focusing most on tonight, but I did want to give you an overview of everything that could be or should be involved. In phase one, that's when creating connections and transforming cultures begins. That's when the entire district will be trained in Capturing Kids' Hearts 1. We will also train a very small set of district employees to become staff mentors. We will have follow-up coaching visits from our very own flipping strategist, as well as the administrators receiving an additional leadership training called Blueprint. If we choose to adopt this in phase two, which would be the second year, we will continue by developing multipliers. At that point, all staff will be trained in Capturing Kids' Hearts 2, which is the second step. And that class actually supports brain research, teaching the staff to complete individual action plans that they will then come back and implement in their classroom. And then that phase also incorporates a secondary program for the middle school and the high school called LeadWorthy, which would actually be a class in school for students. And then in the third phase, it would just be continued consistent coaching and implementation where the flipping group would still check on us to make sure that things are going well. They would help us to analyze our data and make adjustments as necessary. And then also train any new staff who may have come on board after the first two phases of training. So I told you that we would be looking at focusing on phase one for this upcoming school year, hopefully in August, training our entire staff in Capturing Kids 1. I'm sorry, Capturing Kids Hearts 1. That extensive training would be for all instructional staff to introduce the process of building and maintaining relationships. Step two would be the process champions, and that would take place sometime in the fall, probably October, where we would train that very small group of staff members to become in-house mentors, helping to monitor and assist other staff with the program implementation. Sometime in January, our very own flipping strategist would come back for coaching. I think it's 1 to 2 days that they would come just to monitor our implementation, see that teachers are using the strategies, and help us to look at our data and make adjustments as necessary. And then also, we would have ongoing throughout the entire year what's called a premium subscription. And that premium subscription would allow us access to online tools and resources, campus progress report, and then a huge slew of professional learning and development for teachers to refer back to anytime they needed to. If you have the presentation, if you click on this link, you can actually see everything that is included in that premium subscription. The extensive training that teachers will receive in Capturing Kids' Hearts 1 would be first, how to build meaningful and productive relationships with students and colleagues. They would also learn how to create high-performing, managing classrooms through team building and social contracts. They would learn how to create safe and effective learning environments as well as learning high payoff techniques for resolving conflict, disrespect, and other negative behaviors. So how much will this cost us? The large number is 73,000. And when I first saw that, I thought, oh, wow, that is extraordinary. But Mr. Abdullah had reminded me that this is a whole district training. And so the training the entire district for this amount is actually a pretty fair price. Though this cost does not include travel, the travel would be anywhere from 1,000 to 1,800, depending on how many strategists have to come and how long they stay. So if it doesn't include the travel, what does that include? It includes the Capturing Kids' Hearts 1, where teachers will be trained in that 2-day extensive training. It includes the training where they will come back and also train those process champions. It includes the Campus Traction Pack, where our strategist comes back to work with us personally or work with teachers personally in their classrooms. And then we receive that premium subscription with all of the online resources and training that's involved with that. Here you'll see a actual breakdown of everything that is included in those 4 things that I just mentioned more specifically. And it actually itemizes it for you as well. The additional options for future phases include the Capturing Kids' Hearts 2 that I mentioned. There is a coaching component that we could also add in. Leadership Blueprint, we're actually trying to incorporate into phase 1. Since we have so few administrators, we're looking at seeing how they can do that for us at no additional cost. And then some other options are Organization Blueprint, as well as the Lead Worthy secondary course that I spoke of for our high school and middle school students. If you are interested in reading more about Capturing Kids' Hearts and some of the, outcomes and sorry about that. Some of the transformation stories, you can click this link. It also tells you about all of the research that supports it and some affirmations from schools that are actually using it. I'd like to end with a quote from Flip Flippin, who is the founder of Capturing Kids' Hearts. He says, if you have a kid's heart, you can have a kid's mind. And he's right about that. If kids trust you and they know how much you, there's an old saying that I used to use a lot that says, kids don't care how much you know unless they know how much you care. And that's so true. Once you build a relationship with them and let them know that you are really working for their best interests at heart, they will listen and be open to learning whatever it is that you would have them to learn.
And you know, kids have a tendency to match their favorite subject area with their favorite teacher. So if you ask any student, whether high school or, you know, what's your favorite subject area, sometimes they'll name the teacher because they have that connection to the teacher. And because they have that connection with the teacher, and every kid should have that teacher that they're connected to, that they could go to for anything, they have a tendency to perform better. They will perform better. And I've, 13 years teaching experience has taught me one thing. I wasn't the best teacher by any means, but I knew how to form relationships. And because we form relationships, we could get students to perform. So although I wasn't the best support system, say in science or math, but because I connected with kids, or Miss Hemingway, or any teacher that connects, they have a tendency to help that teacher, that student, perform at a higher level.
Okay. Do we need a motion and support to go into discussion? Do
Here,
I?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Ms. Chambliss? Do we have support?
I'll support Ms. Holder.
Thank you.
Gloria's
Ms.
muted.
Beaver? Is support will open for discussion. Any questions?
Mary,
Thompson.
Gloria's muted, Mary.
Thank you.
Okay, Gloria, did you have a question?
I do. This is the first we're hearing about this program. Are there not other programs out there that we checked into for this type of thing? I guess I'm just looking at this and saying, you know, why is this the first we're hearing about it?
I apologize. I thought I reported out when we went to the training about 2 months ago when I sent you an update about the training that Felicia and I had about that seminar that we went to. That was capturing kids' hearts.
Okay.
Okay.
So do you need more information, Ms. Thompson, about the program?
No, I
Oh.
just wondered why this was the first we were hearing about it.
I didn't think it was the first. I apologize. I didn't think it was the first time I had shared it, but I apologize if it is.
Okay. Okay, next up, Ms. Beaver.
Ms. Chambliss had her hand up first. She can ask just in case it's the same question I'm thinking.
All right, Ms. Chambliss, you have the floor.
I just wanted to say that I have heard, you know, in emails and things like that about capturing hearts. And so I did a lot of research on it. I actually watched that video on YouTube before, and I really think that it's something we should consider. I think that if you're not necessarily comfortable with it tonight, maybe you don't feel like you have enough information, maybe table it for a week or so, because I did go online and honestly, I can find countless amazing reviews about it and, you know, administrators talking about how well it's done for their district. And I haven't really found very much pushback. So, and then I just wanted to ask one question. Do you know, Mr. Abdulahad, I know that when you came back from the seminar, you were in emails like raving about this. Did they mention like how soon we could expect possibly to see results? Like, do they show that the program starts to like kind of show a benefit right away, or does it take a few years, or like, how does that work?
I don't recall a guarantee on time, but
okay.
It also a few things. One, this is the one that we're recommending. This is the one I'm recommending to the board. Two, in a 2-day seminar, I was blown away just in 2 days, just sitting there as a spectator, watching colleagues, I believe from Oakland County. We ran into Lake Orion and we ran into a few other school districts. I think one other school district, but we met people from all across the state in a 2-day seminar. I was so blown away. And I've been in education since '01, and it doesn't take, it takes a whole lot, because in education, you tend to see it all, right? You tend to see it all. And I was just blown away. And I believe that in my heart. I've always believed that you win a kid's heart and they will go to battle for you. They will perform for you. They will do what is asked of you. And when it's time for you to reprimand or correct behavior, because it's founded in love, they tend to receive it better. And they don't deem you as an enemy, but instead a mentor who's trying to correct some behavior so they could excel. And again, this is at the high-end cost. We're presenting you the high-end cost. There is an opportunity for grant, but we didn't want to provide you something that we weren't sure we were going to get. So the cost will either be $73,000 or less based on if we get grant. specifically from the Flippin Group.
Okay. Crystal, you,
Yeah, I
Did
had
you
a
ask-
question. Rebecca didn't ask it, so I'll go ahead. Mr. Abdullah, this would cover, the 73,000 would be for until 2024, correct? Was that what it said? No, Ms. Hemingway? What year was it?
No,
Sorry,
2022, wasn't it?
So that would cover
One
just
year.
our phase one.
just the 1 year?
That would
Okay.
that would just cover our phase one.
And does anybody know offhand how much we spend a year in PD? Because this would be kind of considered, could you integrate that as PD?
Absolutely, absolutely. And Dr. Hill, I'll let Dr. Hill, what we're trying to do is separate the programming from cost. So Dr. Hill will speak to that. Again, this is not, we're not trying to pull this from general fund, but I'll let Dr. Hill talk about that. I know last year alone, we spent nearly, Dr. Hill, correct me if I'm wrong, nearly $100,000 in PD just for PPE and COVID preparation. Dr. Hill, do you want to speak a little bit about professional development?
maybe not.
Mary, you got to unmute her, Mary.
Can you turn my camera on as well? Thank you. Sorry, I was muted. But in terms of professional development, last year, I want to say, I believe we spent about $50,000, but I can double check that because I wasn't prepared to tell you how much, how much professional development we spent as a district. But I'm thinking about 50 grand and about 50 grand. And this has been put in the ESSER 2 grant, this cost. So, I just want you to weigh that in there as well.
This would also meet, Madam President, the 30 hours of PD that we are required to provide our teaching staff.
All righty. And we had two more hands up, Ms. Scott and then Mr. Holcomb, please.
Yes, I would be in favor of tabling this for further information. I personally know teachers that have worked with this program. And currently I'm not in favor of this program. If we tabled it, maybe, and I got some more information, which I have clicked on the links and I've researched this since this got brought up, when I found out that Mr. Abdullah was going to this training, asked questions, and I would like to see it tabled. I don't want to turn down something just because I'm not completely there with this, because I think we need other things in our school district besides this. So I'm in favor of tabling this. If we could table this, if we vote on it tonight, I'm not in favor of this. That's all I gotta say.
Does she need support?
If she's making a formal motion to table, she needs support.
Beth, are you making a formal motion?
I would like to make a motion to table this in a couple of weeks or next board meeting. So yes, I'm making that motion to table this, please.
And I'll support.
Okay. Okay. If I believe, and tell me if I'm wrong, that we continue with discussion and then when we vote on the table first, correct?
I just don't know how we can have two motions going at once.
Well, the last one that's made is the one that you vote on first. So that much I know for absolutely certain. Mr. Holcomb, you were up next.
All right, Edwina, you said that the ESSER fund will pay for some of this?
Yeah, the ESSER 2 grant will pick up the whole $73,000.
So it's not gonna cost, it wouldn't cost the district nothing?
No, not out of the general fund. but out of grant funds.
Okay. Any other questions, Mr. Holcomb?
No.
Okay, Ms. Chambliss, go ahead.
Just two quick pieces. First is with the ESSER grant, wouldn't we pay the 73,000 and then apply for it to be reimbursed, and it could possibly be denied? And then
No.
also, no?
No, the way that the grant funds work, they approve it beforehand. Yes, you use your general fund to pay the bill, and then you get reimbursed. They'll
Okay,
tell
so-
you, yes, and it is an approvable professional development item, you know.
Okay, so if we did this, then the 73,000 would cover the 30 hours of PD for all of our staff, which would probably cost the district 50 to 100,000 anyways. And then it will come out of ESSER grant money and not our general fund, so it'd be paid for through the grant. And it would cover everything they need. If we table this, how long are we thinking about tabling it, and what information is needed so that the next time it comes around, everybody feels comfortable?
Okay, Mrs. Thompson, go ahead.
I had one more question. You said that Ms. Hemingway said that there would be teachers who would be support teachers?
She's
She
muted.
could be unmuted.
Mary.
There would be mentor teachers. We would.
Mentor teachers.
Yep.
These mentor teachers, are we going to have to then pay them a stipend to be?
No, they're selected based on the ones that are jumping right in, that are implementing it with fidelity, that are successful. Then they become the mentor. This is different than the mentor you're thinking about being a teacher mentor, which a teacher mentor, that is a small compensation. This has nothing to do with that. There is no additional compensation for being selected as one of those mentor coaches for this PD.
Okay, I don't see any more hands. I had a couple of questions. The cost per year was covered. We know we get ESSER money. We actually have a couple of ESSERs, but it's not ongoing. Is this a cost per year going to be open-ended until or unless we quit the program?
No.
Or it's a couple of years and then that's it? Just so that we know what the time block is. And you can answer that and then I'll ask my other two questions.
Ms. Hemingway, is the second year lesser amount? Are you able to unmute? But she's not able to unmute. It would not be an ongoing, this is not a reoccurring 73,000. This is to deploy the program, get it going, and then we'll be self-sustaining after that. They provide some coaching and they slowly release us. Ms.
I
Hemingway?
believe the second year, there would be a cost that we would incur for teachers to be trained in capturing kids' hearts too, if we chose for them to do that. They obviously encourage you to do that because it's just the next level or the next step in the program. But if we didn't, it would not disparage what we had paid for in that phase one. It would only add to it if we decided to go on to phase two. The other cost in phase two are the LeadWorthy program for our secondary students. And we didn't get into what a cost would be for that. But again, I didn't personally research that really well, so I wouldn't be able to speak to exactly what that is. Again, these are options that would enhance what we learned during that phase one, but they don't, not having them does not negate what we've learned in phase one.
Okay. I have a couple other questions. I'm gonna put them out there and then you can answer them in whatever order that you want. The LeadWorthy, I almost think that the high school and the junior high are the places where we need this kind of training the most in self-confidence and tolerance of other people. So it's almost a little sad that you start with, and I understand the program's a program, but that we start the second year with, in my opinion anyway, the group that probably would benefit the most. But you were
I'm
talking
sorry,
about-
not to interrupt you, Ms. Holder, but to clarify, it's not necessarily that we're starting with just the elementary or lower L. The entire district staff will be trained during that phase one. There isn't necessarily a program component that is a class for the elementary. I think that they wait until that second year in phase two to implement the lead worthy class at that secondary level, because they want teachers to already be trained and to have good relationships that will enhance that class before trying to implement that. If teachers are still learning and building relationships, then that class may not mean as much, or it may not be as effective. And so they wait until that phase one is done, until everyone has received their initial training to build the foundation to make the lead worthy class worth it.
Great. Okay, now I know we don't have room for many electives, especially at the high school level. If we were making this would it be a requirement or an elective in our fantasy world of Shangri-La? And we are in this program, and we are in the second year, and we are in the lead worthy. Would the kids then have to choose this over, I don't know, band, music, gym, whatever? Or would this somehow be a permanent component to their daily schedule? What is the best guess? I realize you haven't gone that far, but if everything was in a perfect world, what would it look like?
First, we actually are trying to bring more electives to the high school because they don't have that many at all. So we're trying to get more electives, and this would be one of them. Correct, lead worthy would be an elective, almost like student council, someone who is looking to be that student mentor. They would pick in that, and then we would have student leaders. Similar, what we're trying to appeal to is every kid's kind of taste bud, right? So we have the agriculture kids that are seeking agriculture. You got the advanced placement, you got the fine arts, you got the music. I believe, this is just my opinion, that we probably need 3 or 4 or maybe 5 additional electives at the high school, just to provide some options for our students. Right now, we're very limited on options on what kids could select. This would just enhance our students.
So it wouldn't reduce, it wouldn't necessarily, well, I guess maybe it would. They might have to choose this over something else, but all right. And then benchmarks. Explain a little bit about what benchmarks would look like to see what kind of progress was being made.
Ms. Hemingway, you want to handle that one?
She's muted again. Oh,
Here we go. Yeah, I can unmute myself this time.
all right.
So the things that, and let me actually go back to the presentation. Hold on.
I know you said you get benchmarks and you could follow your progress. I was just wondering what that might look like.
I closed it. So there are 5 things that were most important that they pretty much guaranteed would happen if we implement the program with fidelity. The first one is an increase of student achievement, higher test scores. There would also be less retention and lower rate of truancy. There would be a higher rate of teacher success, or I'm sorry, teacher satisfaction.
Higher rate of student attendance.
A higher attendance rate and less discipline referrals.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the benchmarks. Okay.
And those are
the
all
ones that-
measurable?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, and those are all measurable, and we could provide, we could say, here's where we are. We might have a 75% attendance rate, And then after implementing it for 6 months, if we see that go from 75 to 85, we could attribute part of that to the professional development or the program of capturing kids' hearts.
Okay.
I wanted
And-
to add one thing.
Oh, sure. Go ahead, Ms. Hill.
Just a clarity, when I seen it implemented in, another district, Southfield, it was a cultural change. It changes the culture of the building or the buildings. The teachers act a certain way, the students respond a certain way, and the students interact with each other a better way or a different way as a result of implementing this program. It changes the culture of the building.
That's the goal.
Okay. Ms. Scott, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Okay, no disrespect here to anyone, honestly. It's just disappointing that, again, the reason I want to table this is because the part 2 of
Oh, she just froze.
Yes, she did.
the high school, just like the dance
Huh?
classes,
Miss Scott, you froze. Will you restart? I'm sorry.
okay, so no disrespect to anybody here when I say this. The reason why, again, I want to table this is because it's disappointing that we didn't look ahead to the part 2 of this for 2022, because just like the dance classes and other classes that came for a year and were gone the next, if we had the lead class in the junior high and the high school and the kids really loved it and looked forward to it, now it would be disappointing if we'd have to come to them and now they come back to the school year and it's not there. So again, we don't know anything about the part 2 of this, how much it's going to cost us. I wished we would do and have more information, let the board ask further questions, get more information. I just feel that we're not ready to, there's so many questions that we have in regards to this. Like, I hate to bring something into the school and take it back from them. We had dance, they loved it, and we took it away from them. I don't want to see us giving them something and taking something back just because we quote, we can't afford it. That's all
Can
I
I
have to say.
clarify that, or just that little small part? If we invest in the lead worthy class, it's a training and curriculum, the materials we would have. So it isn't something that we would necessarily have to keep paying for every year. Once the teachers are trained and once we have the resources, we can keep implementing that. So, and that is the plan. That's what
If we have, is what you meant to say. If we train the teachers this year and they're not here next year or whatever, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be a constant training. So we don't know. There's not enough information given to the board, I feel, that we can make a decision on this.
I understand that. I guess I was just trying to gather for myself what information it is that you need. So we can try to get it for you.
Right. Okay, Ms. Chambliss, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I support the program because I feel like we're gonna pay 50 to 100,000 training staff with PD anyways. So if we take a risk and we train them with this and it's not successful after a year, that would not be a great thing, but it is also a chance that it does work. And with the PD that we're already paying for, we then get a culture shift that spreads district wide. So, with the professional development that the staff already gets, we have great staff, but I don't think that their direct professional development impacts the whole district. This would, and it's a cost we're already gonna pay. And this also comes out of ESSER. But I just wanted to know, have we spoken with the staff? Do the staff have any idea about this? Have we even asked them if it's something they're interested in? Because if they're not vested in it, then it's not gonna work. But have we, I don't know if you came here first and then the next step is to take it to the staff, or does the staff know about it at all and have they responded? Like, are they ready to do this?
No, we have not presented to the staff. And we can't present something to the staff that we don't know that we could bring to them, right? So we can't say, we want to do this. but then not have the approval. So we're seeking the approval. And now the requirement to provide professional development rests on the shoulders of the district. So the district has to provide professional development. The district could implement the vision in the pathway that they want to proceed forward. And so what greater approach can you take than winning a kid's heart? I mean, I've heard you say it where your kids are so attached to a teacher, and the first thing out of their mouth is not, wow, they really taught algebraic expression really well. No, that teacher connected with them. So when someone says, you know what, Miss Hemingway is my favorite teacher, not because she was a reading specialist or taught science. When they talk about, you heard that student talk about Mr. Janigian at graduation. It wasn't because he was a great science, it's because Mr. Janigian connected with Claire. Remember when Claire spoke about that?
Yeah.
It's that connection piece. This is something that is research-based. And are we going to have 100% buy-in? No. But if we have 75 or 80 or 90% buy-in, could then there be a cultural shift? Absolutely, 100%.
What I was going to add to that, Ms. Chambliss, is it also starts from the top down. And though we haven't brought it to the staff, we have talked about it as administrators. And it is the ownership is on us to infuse it into our buildings and to lead and get our staff on board as well.
Ms. Ott?
Miss Hemingway, I know this is probably the sooner the better, but is there a time frame or a deadline to sign up for this program? Do we have a little bit of leeway to look into the program, like Ms. Scott said, and make a decision, or is it now?
I don't think that it is so time sensitive that we have to make a decision tonight, but it is time sensitive in that we need to get on their schedule and on their books. This is a very popular program. And as I said, it's nationwide. And because we want the dates to coincide with the time that we have professional development available for the staff in August, which is the same time where everybody in the country will probably be doing professional development. We want to try to get on the books.
Okay. Thank you.
So I had a question to Ms. Scott and Mrs. Thompson. What kind of time frame would you request, and what questions do you think that you would like more answers to?
Are you talking to me, Madam President?
To both of you, so that when we vote on tabling this, we know what it is.
So we have 3 meetings this month, 3 more meetings this month. So it's not like we couldn't put this in front of whatever we're doing, training or whatever. It would be a 5 or 10 minute thing to vote on it. Number 1. Number 2 is I would like to see the part 2 of this. And Mr. Abdul-Had's right. He did tell us that he and Mrs. Hemingway had gone to the training. That's all that we got until we got our board packet. And we really I didn't have this presentation until I picked it up today. So, I mean, I researched it myself, but I don't actually have all the questions that I needed to have to ask prior to this meeting, because I wasn't given time to what part. If you actually go and research this, there's lots of things in that thing. I know teachers that have worked in it in Bloomfield Hills, in Southfield, in Franklin. So I've reached out and asked those questions. And what Mrs. Hemingway what she's telling us is nothing what the teachers had come back to me with. I just would like us to investigate more, come back with the part 2 of it. What if we want to go on the part two, how much is that gonna cost us? Like looking ahead, so it wouldn't be something, I'm not saying it would not be a good program. I just think we need further information. Like if we continue this in 2022, how much is that gonna cost us, or is this something we're gonna yank from the kids? All right, and if we're not gonna be in a position where we can project to see if we're gonna have the money for part two. We can project that. So Dr. Hill probably could project that. If she could project that and just come back with and give us a little bit of time to let us really think about this. And I know this is a professional development. I'm not saying that this is not the end all be all. There could be something else. If this is the first thing that we looked into, like there's a lot of questions I have to this that we are spending way too much time on it tonight. Our agendas we're not even a quarter way through our agenda really. So I would like to see us table it for us to grasp and get more information is all.
So besides the cost of phase two, is there anything else specific that you would like for me to ask? And
no, not right at this moment. I could email you when I thought about it more from what you presented to us today. I'm sure I would have a list of questions, or for Mr. Abdullahad, however you wanted us to handle it. But that's where I'm at with it.
Madam President.
Yes.
Couple of things. Ms. Provenzolo has her hand up. 2, ESSER money carries all the way to 2025. Just a reminder that ESSER money carries you all the way to 2025. But again, if you feel you're not prepared, if you could tell us what it would take us, what we would need to get you prepared and present it, we will. It does take a lot of planning, as you could tell from the summer school and preschool. It's not like you give us the green light and then it happens. It takes a lot behind the scenes to get ready once you do give us a green light. And Mary, if you could unmute Ms. Provenzolo, please.
She can unmute.
I just wanted to say a couple of things, because this was something that we ended up hiring a few teachers that were all from the same charter school at Madison Elementary, and quite a few that are beloved teachers that have wonderful relationships at Madison Elementary. And when we talked to them about PD they had experienced in the past, they were all in the same charter school and they all experienced capturing kids' hearts, which is one of the reasons why it became a thing Ms. Hemingway and I talked about and wanted to bring to Madison Elementary initially. And then it became something like, maybe we could bring this district-wide, because it is something dear to our hearts to make sure that there's positive, loving relationships built throughout our school and our district. So those teachers and all of our teachers, I love them. I think our building is amazing. Our teachers are amazing. So none of this is to say that any one teacher is better or worse than another, but there is a difference. You can see the difference between the types of relationships that are made from the teachers that have gone through this program and the ones that haven't. And there's a way that they connect to the students, and the way that they interact, and the way that they greet them at the door, the way that they talk to them, the way that they just help them problem solve. That's just slightly different. And it's a change in the whole culture, like it was talked about previously with Ms. Hemingway. The training for the initial year, again, like Ms. Hemingway talked about, would also train teachers to be those leaders that would continue the training. So it's not something that we would expect to drop off after the first year. It's something that we would train our own staff members up to be teacher leaders that would be able to continue that training, since they've gone through it and been the experts now, and then can train in the future. The class only comes in at the second year if you choose to pay for it. So it's not something that's taken away after the first year, because it's not implemented the first year. It's only implemented if you pay for it the second year, and if you choose to go in that direction. It's not a requirement, but an additional thing to the program, like Ms. Hemingway said. So I just wanted to throw out there that those things, and to talk about my own anecdotal evidence with the teachers that I have, and seeing the relationships that they build at Madison Elementary. Okay, and if you want to ask me questions, is that a question for me or for?
I'm not sure. I'm going to ask Mrs. Thompson next, because she's been waiting patiently. So we'll find out.
I guess my thing is, is this the only program out there that teaches teachers how to assimilate with kids, work with kids, get them involved? Because, this is the only program that you've brought to us. Are there other programs out there that we may want to look into?
Yeah.
The other thing is I noticed that it says it does not cover transportation. Where do the teachers have to go for this training?
So this is the one that we're presenting. This is the one we're recommending to the board. Transportation is not for our teachers, but if a trainer has to fly in, that's the transportation. We, in this district, we don't fly anyone out for any training. So that transportation, it's for the presenter to come here so they could do the site-based monitoring.
So that's an additional cost above and beyond this.
That was what was presented. Between 1,000 and 1,800 is what Ms. Hemingway addressed.
Okay.
And again, that's on the high end. We qualify for a grant, but we didn't want to tell you that because we don't know what we qualify for. So that's on the high end. It could be less than 73,000.
Okay.
You have any other questions, Mrs. Thompson?
No.
Okay, Ms. Scott, floor is yours.
Mrs. Provenziola, it would have been perfect if those teachers were present and could speak upon that. So that would be something that I personally, in my opinion, I would like to have seen the teachers that work in our district, how it helped them where they used to work at a charter school.
Okay, so do we have any other questions? We need to vote on the table. Mrs. Chambliss or Ms. Chambliss, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that, Ms. Thompson, I completely respect what you're saying, because obviously, like we know, even if we're not in education, we know there are a lot of programs out there. But I believe that our instinct is to want to make sure we're doing the best, to make sure that we're doing what's right, to give the children the best. And so that makes us ask questions like, is this the best program? But we also have to say, do we trust Ms. Hemingway and Mr. Abdulahad that went to the training, and Ms. Provenziola, who believes she's seen results? Do we trust them as the administrators, because they are the ones like with the kids, they are the educators? And I know when you're saying it, that it's not like that you're saying anything negative to anybody, but I just want to say, because I feel it too, I oftentimes want to say, how do we know? Tell me more. How do you know? And then I have to keep remembering what Rod Green said. And like, that's, if they bring us this program, they have to have reasons why they believe it's the best for our district.
And to add to that, Ms. Chambliss, no one knows for sure. You do your research and you do what feels like is the best fit for your clientele. Are there other programs out there that are good? Probably, for sure. Just like there are many different curriculums and curriculum companies. And it's not to say that one of them wouldn't be good for one school while the other is good for another. It's what we do with the information that we're given once we're trained. It's how we implement it and how we keep it going and sustain the momentum of it and use it to help our kids. There are tons of character education and social emotional learning programs out there, but this one spoke to us because of the connection to relationship building. That's something that will be beneficial for these students for the rest of their lives. And like I said, that's not to say that there aren't other programs out there that are just as good, but what we take from it and use it to build our district is what will make it the best for us.
Okay, Mrs. Zack, go ahead.
Just to touch on what Ms. Scott said, we do actually have 4 more meetings in this month. The 11th, of course, being a facility meeting. So I think should we pick a date that we can reopen this? If we're going to vote on tabling it, And then maybe Sarah can have some of those teachers present. And questions can be answered prior to the meeting, so that everybody has a good understanding. We've got the 11th, 14th, 15th, and 30th. Because you said if we were going to table it or vote to table it, that we should have a date when we're going to reopen
Yes,
it.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I was gonna see if the table passes first. and
Okay.
then To decide on a date, if indeed it does.
Okay, sorry about
So
that.
if no, you're good. If we have no more questions.
One more.
Mr. Holcomb, go ahead.
Okay, so we're gonna table it till next meeting coming up here within this month. And that won't put us in a time problem, right? Mrs. Hemingway?
I can't say for sure that dates that we want, may not be taken, but I know that the consultants that we are working with have promised to try and work with us and get us what we need. So, like I said, I don't think it's emergent that we make this decision tonight, but we do want to make sure that we are cognizant of the time so that we can try to get on the schedule and get the dates that we want and the strategists that we prefer to come out and do our training.
Well, it sounds really good to me, but I want everybody to be comfortable with it, so, okay.
I am looking. Okay, so if we have no more questions, the first thing that we're gonna do is vote to table. And then if that passes, we need to set a date, and I think we all agree the sooner the better. And then we need to move on with our agenda. So first thing is Ms. Kennedy, roll call for the table on the
Madam President, it's yes. The vote would be yes to table it, no to not table it, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify for everyone.
Yep.
Okay, we'll start with Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Crystal Beaver,
No.
Gloria Thompson,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
Yes.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Cindy Holder.
Yes.
Action passes to table. We need to decide what date.
Right. Okay, so the 11th is.
That doesn't give you very much time. That's this Friday.
Right.
Right. Well, I was just gonna ask if the 14th would be enough time to possibly, because I know this is the end of the school year and it's like, you teachers don't have anything going on at the end of the school year. So, is that enough time to gather this bit of information?
Just to
So
be
that we
clear,
could have it next Monday, is that okay?
just to be clear, you want the cost of year 2 and you want the testimonial of the teachers is what I heard you say, correct? You want the cost of year 2 and you want the testimonial of the staff, correct?
And any questions that the board may have, whoever you want those questions to go to, Mr. Dillard, whether it be you or Mrs. Hemingway, Mrs. Provenzola, I'm not sure.
Send the questions to me. And then I'll be happy to disseminate that information.
Okay, and Ms. Thompson, did you have anything else that you wanted to add to that?
Well, I was just he said we could send him questions. I'll
Right.
just send him my questions.
Okay, great. All right, with that, the 14th, is that okay for everybody?
That's next Monday?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
that's
need
fine. with me.
some affirmation from somebody.
It's
Yes.
okay with me as long as we get our questions and those are questions answered before the 14th. I'm fine with the 14th.
Okay. Okay, so it will be the 14th. It will be on our agenda. as a voting item.
Thank you.
All righty. All right, we need to move on to superintendent report.
Thank you, Madam President. Do you need a break? It is,
No, I'm
2
so-
hours since we started presenting the Capturing Kids' Hearts. It's almost 10 o'clock. Do you need a break?
I'm seeing everybody shake their heads, so let's keep moving.
Okay.
Thank
All right.
you.
So for the superintendent report, we started talking about June 11th, the board meeting. What I would like to do is invite the public to join us on June 11th. We are doing our facilities discussion and infrastructure discussion, where the board will start discussion about a draft preliminary qualification where they select based on the needs and infrastructure that is presented before them. We have completed the second facilities assessment. We will have both of those there. It will be a discussion. And then if the board chooses at that point to take action, then we could do that then. Want to remind, again, so June 11th, 7 p.m. It's a Zoom meeting to discuss facility infrastructure and needs of the district. We sent out, we want the community to know we sent out a survey, and we're asking them to, have a look at that survey, provide as much information to us as possible on feedback. Want to also invite the community, parents, to do a building walkthrough where we are going to go through every part of the high school to see everything. The good, bad, and ugly, everything. To ease some people's mind and to show some of our needs at the same time. And so that will be June 10th at 7 p.m. We will also have the facility study from Performance Services there if people want to have that. Again, we are inviting the board, but want to remind the community that the board is there as participants if they choose to go, and they're not there to have discussions or anything regarding board business. But they're there as visitors like everyone else. Graduation was a huge success. I think people were, we had a few trustees there. We had the bleachers packed. It was amazing. I think parents were excited to see their graduates. I think the graduates were excited to have some kind of normalcy. I know they were super excited, and it was a great turnout. I had the opportunity to attend state finals track meet near Grand Rapids this Saturday. And let me tell you, I've never been proud of these gentlemen, Roy Payne, Jalen Logan, Malik Munson, Antonio Thompson, and Coach Jones, Kelsey Jones. They represented the district with pride. It was amazing. I had chills just watching them compete in that 4x100 relay. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but what a great performance. And one of the young men is only a freshman, and he was competing against, I've never seen men that big that were high school seniors. I mean, they were 2 feet taller than me, bigger than me, and they were just all muscle. And I was in shock. And they did a phenomenal. The boys baseball team, the girls softball team, it's just been a wonderful spring season for sports. Just a wonderful season. Them adapting with quarantining and things like that. What great kids and sportsmanship. And I just want to give the boys baseball, the girls softball, the track. Next year I talked to Kelsey and asked her if we could extend track to do cross country and expand on that. And she's eager to do that. She's eager to jump in. And we're excited. And not to brag, but I was Kelsey's Spanish teacher. And so, you know, I got to tease her a little bit about back in the day when we had the student staff basketball game. But that was a nice experience. We also want to announce that I think it's a wonderful opportunity. Typically, we have Carnival in April. But Skirbeck has allowed us to move the Carnival to June 23rd. And I think the timing could not have been more perfect. June 23rd to the 27th, the Carnival will be here at the high school. I think the timing couldn't be more perfect with the removing of restrictions and people actually trying to gather. I really think that this is going to unify and bring families together and allow them to celebrate in a safe way. Again, that's June 23rd to the 27th. If you have questions regarding cost or what is required, Jamie will be prepared to discuss that. I'm just kind of announcing some of the dates. Vaccination clinic was a huge success. The first time we had about 25 students. We have 2 more clinics on June 22nd and then June 29th. June 22nd is for the second dose of Pfizer for the families that took the first dose on June 1st. June 29th is also Pfizer vaccine open to everyone. We talked about the face mask requirements being lifted. I would be remiss if I would not honor and celebrate a few people. Linda Hercat and Leslie Rennie Kegebine, they are both retiring, and combined, them two have over 60 years. I'm not trying to age them. I'm not trying to embarrass anyone, but combined, they have over 60 years of experience in the hard work and the dedication, and has not gone unnoticed. I've known both of them 9 years, and both tremendous people. I'm still trying to get Linda to consider retiring for a little bit and then come back after 30 days to, you know, help us out with testing. I'm trying to also convince Leslie to do something similar, but I'm trying to give them their space. Old business. So I really like that idea. I know we didn't put it on the agenda, but old business, when Rod Green talked about that, I know there was discussion about long distance charges and why we're being so expensive. We're going with Clear Rate. That's going to happen this summer. We're going from AT&T to Clear Rate. And then we are also signing up for the 4 to 6 digit code. I think that would alleviate some concerns from anyone because everyone will have their own unique code. And I didn't want the trustees to think that that is going unanswered. And so I believe, again, Linda Hercat, I talked about Leslie. I believe, Madam President, that is all my superintendent's report that I have at this time.
Okay, Ms. Thompson?
I have a question for Mr. Abdullah. Could you please address the legal fees and why they didn't get paid for 3 months to the public?
Okay, so the reason why in the check registry, the legal fees are 3 months behind, or, you know, 3 months worth, because I get the detailed version. I'm the only one that gets the detailed version. Well, I didn't know that unless I request or I notify Joanne to request the undetailed versions, that they don't automatically come. We have since, that was a misstep on my part. We have since remedied the situation. Again, and that's why I sent the entire board, all the legal, both from Troon and from Clark Hill. And I went back as much as possible. Again, that was a misstep on our part. We assumed that things were happening, but we have since corrected that issue, and it won't be an issue going forward anymore.
All righty. Ms. Scott, quick question, and then we got to move on.
Mr. Abdullah, you spoke about on June 11th, you were inviting the public for the facility discussions. Does that mean that the public can ask questions and we'll get an answer back, or? Do you know what I mean? Like, is this just like they have to talk for 3 minutes and nobody's gonna talk, nobody will respond back to them? Or is it a Q&A session?
This is a regular board meeting, but we're treating it as a workshop where we could actually have dialogue and discussion. But if the board then wants to take action, so the public is always welcome at every meeting. And again, I don't control the agenda, that the board does. The board controls the structure of the meeting. But at every board meeting, the public is allowed to ask the question. So they could also ask it indirectly to me when I'm doing the site visit. When I'm showing them, we're gonna also have Q&A there. And we don't have the answer for them right away. We'll write it down and then I'll address it on the 11th.
Okay, that's what I was trying to clarify. Would there be on the 11th, it's really just the public 3 minute and they don't get a response back? Because the way you said it, it sounded like it was going to be a Q&A type meeting on the 11th, which it really won't be. But on the 10th, you'll be answering questions, or you'll write, if you don't know the answer, you'll write it down and you can get back to them on the 11th.
Exactly.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you. That was all I had. Thank you.
Okay, Crystal Beaver, you have the floor.
Just really fast, Mr. Abdulahad. When the post about the carnival started going around, there was a community member that was a little apprehensive regarding parking and trash. Another community member had mentioned possibly the idea of pulling in our NHS, since they need volunteer hours anyways, to see if maybe that they could go along and pick up trash and possibly put up other cans. So I had told them when that had came up that I would bring that up to your attention.
I think that's a wonderful idea of high school students to get community service hours. If they want to represent, whether it's student council or National Honor Society or student athletes, if they want to do some volunteering, I think that's a wonderful idea. I'm not opposed to anyone volunteering to help out, including parent groups. I mean, we're not going to turn down anyone that wants to volunteer to help us oversee. I know last year Beth rode around in with a golf cart with Amanda. I don't know if we could do the golf cart this time, but we want
we passed out glow sticks. Sorry, everybody. I have to go on off camera for a second, but I'm right here. Okay.
Yeah, so we're open to anyone. Again, however, if a volunteer is new to volunteer, we do have to do that background check. But if we have the background check already on file, then that's okay.
Yeah, that was it. I just told them I would mention it to you.
Yeah.
So it was on your radar. That's all.
So we are done with Superintendent Report. We are now moving on to Section 3A. Approval of minutes, special board meetings, April 27th, May 4th, May 18th, June 1st, and regular board meeting, May 3rd, 2021. Do I have a maker and support?
Madam President, I'll make the motion.
I'll support. This is Beth.
So Ms. Ott is the maker, Ms. Scott is support. Any discussion? Seeing none. Mary, please take roll.
Crystal Beaver,
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
Yes.
Gloria Thompson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, approval of the 21-22 School of Choice to open on June 8th, 2021 and close October 5th, 2021. Mrs. Kennedy, can you read that motion, please?
Okay, so just to give you a brief description, so you have an idea, we have to request and receive approval to expand our normal school of choice window. So the government requires this. So we recommend that the Board of Education approve the 2021-2022 school of choice to open on June 8th, 2021, and to close on October 5th, 2021. That gives us the most time to get the most students that we can get during that time frame. We were approved for this, by the way.
Okay. And so we need a maker and support, and then we can ask questions.
I'll make the motion.
I'll
So
support.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm
Who is
sorry,
supporting?
I'll support.
Ms.
It's
Scott.
Okay.
Yeah, discussion, please. Any questions? Just, Ms. Thompson, go ahead.
How are we advertising to get these school of choice kids?
So we will be placing ads in the paper, local paper, and then we also will, it's on our website. And we've had parents calling, asking already for next year, if we could start signing them up. We've had some calls coming in.
We are also producing standalone flyers that we're going to be mailing out on targeted areas. Again, this is just expanding the window to give us more time.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? I don't see any, so Mary, can you call roll, please?
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
Yes.
Gloria Thompson,
Yes.
Crystal Beaver,
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, next is the staff contracts. We have quite a few. Did we want to do them as a group or by like central office versus drivers? What is your pleasure? And the maker of the motion can decide how to handle it. Who wants to take it?
Madam President,
Mrs. Thompson.
aren't you, do we know if we're supposed to do each individual contract, vote on it separately? Because they're individual contracts.
I think we can.
There's an individual name on each one. It's not a group.
And we can vote on it any way we want. So whoever is the maker is where we take this from. So
I'll make the motion that we vote on it as a whole.
I'll second it.
Okay. Okay, Crystal, you are saying each and every one of them all together.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, is Mr. Thiel in the audience? Does he have anything that he wants to add to this?
I'm here. I don't have anything to add necessarily.
No, I'm sorry, you kind of.
No, I don't have anything to add unless you have any questions.
Okay, do we have any questions?
Do we have a total amount of contract with roll-ups and everything? I mean, I saw the contracts and it gives us hourly rates, but do we know what we're actually paying after insurance and all the other stuff? Do we know what a total amount on each contract is?
We kind of sent you the Excel on individual, the differences, and then you would add, if an individual is getting $1 raise, then normally you would add 47 cents to that dollar. And that would add all of that. And I'll let Dr. Hill address finances, but again, typically on per dollar, you add 47 cents to the dollar, and that would factor in everything.
I apologize if I missed something, but I didn't see that. I saw the chart you sent
Yeah, that shows you the difference of what they were getting before and what
and what they're getting now,
what we're proposing to you. Yes.
but that just tells us their salaries. It didn't tell us.
Jamie, can you pull that up? Did you send that to me? A total of,
I have the total number right here if you want me to read it.
Like annual rate or something.
read the total number of
The total number with everyone is, including roll-ups, is $55,066.67.
That's for all of them combined with roll-ups.
All the employees that were voting.
Everyone that you're voting on, the total value of all of them that you're voting on would be how much, Jamie? 54,000?
$55,066 roughly.
Well, I find that amazing because aren't we paying one employee like 43,000?
No, you asked about the change. You asked about the
This
difference.
is an increase. This is the increase.
Oh, that's the increase.
This is
Okay.
the increase.
So the increase is costing us 55,000. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have to keep in mind, we did eliminate one administrative position, listed the director of transportation, which is absorbed by another position now.
Okay. Okay.
I guess I had two things, and to be fair, Mr. Abdullah and I had a discussion, and the Excel worksheet was great. I still am struggling, him and I maybe getting on the same page. So while we're all here, it was my understanding that we were gonna set parameters on all these contracts, and we keep getting them. And so we need to have a very definitive who's going to be in charge of this, because ultimately we're the ones that are fiscally responsible. And so I don't want to belabor the point, but it's not a new point. And I just think we should go into these knowing ahead of time what it is that you're going to offer.
Sure.
So we know what we can. I want to know that we can afford, not that you would give me something, but know we can afford.
Sure.
And know what the total number is, so that if somebody asks me, I don't care. I'm not asking to be part of the deliberations, but a part of the whole package. We used to do one meeting, give a number, for instance, okay, $10,000, which is ludicrous, but just because it's an easy number. This is what we have to work with all the groups for the year. Make it happen. Then when you brought these pieces back, we knew they were part of that one whole puzzle. Do you kind of follow what I mean?
Yeah.
So if we could get more on that, I would, and I'll ask everybody else for input, but I just think maybe we would all be better served. And I thought that's what we had agreed to, but maybe we didn't. So what do we all think while we're sitting here very quickly, because it's getting late?
Well, I thought the individual contracts, I thought we gave him permission to negotiate.
Okay, that wasn't my understanding. That's why I'm asking.
Okay.
I thought all these people were found to not currently or previously having contracts. And so this was basically just to make sure that we did have something in writing to kind of make sure that we know where we stand. They know their rules. We know what we're, obligated to do. And that this was basically just documenting what they were currently expecting anyways.
Most of them aren't getting raises, but there's one in particular that's a little significant as well. Gloria, go ahead.
I think I had the same understanding you did, that the board sets the parameters, and we don't expect to negotiate. That's Angel's job, but we should be setting the parameters on how much we can spend on contracts and negotiating teams and stuff like that. Am I wrong?
I just kind of, I must have misunderstood. I thought we were talking about collective bargaining agreements and new contracts, but I just, again, that's probably my fault for assuming that I thought I was presenting you non-new. These are not new employment contracts. And so what we did is we did comparables, ran comparables. But if you would like going forward, every year on any contract, if that's the wish of the board, we don't have a problem. We could just say, what do you think? Cost of inflation is 3% or 5%. But as you know, we could do that, and then you could say, okay, Angel, don't go over 5% on any contract renewal, and then I'll have like my marching orders going forward. If that's something that you prefer as a whole on everything, we have no problem.
Yeah, I just want everybody to understand, so I'm not frustrated with you and you're not frustrated with me, and we all are on the same page.
Yeah, I'm not frustrated.
Okay, Ms. Scott, go ahead.
I just wanted to clarify. So some of these contracts, okay, first of all, I wish we didn't get 16 contracts at a meeting with an agenda this long, first of all. Second of all, a lot of these folks already had a yearly contract. It was like the bus drivers that didn't have a contract, correct?
And the
We're just
the ESL,
is that correct?
Yeah, the ESL paras did not have a contract. They
Right,
were on offer letters.
right, but like the other folks, this is just a yearly,
Renewal.
right, okay.
Okay, so I don't know if we're gonna get a consensus tonight. We're all getting tired. So at any rate, we have what's in front of us. All contracts, one swoop. Any other questions? Seeing none, Mrs. Kennedy.
Beth Scott,
Yes.
Cindy Holder, Cindy?
Yes. Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Gloria Thompson,
Yes.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Crystal Beaver.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Madam President, do you want a break? Do you need a break? I'm just checking I'm watching your faces as trustees, and I'm just double checking.
I don't know. Does anybody want 5? I don't want to go much longer than that. We're all tired, but.
I'm good. I don't know.
I just want to get it done.
All right.
Yeah, and honestly, if I go off camera, it's because I have to get up and move, and I'm not gonna carry around my iPad, but I'm in the room just to tell.
That's
So
fine.
go off camera, that's why.
Okay, cool. Then we're good. We'll continue. Approve of EDU healthcare physical therapy contract. And let me look at Mr. Field, do you have some info on this that we need?
This contract was handled by, I believe,
Mr. Andra.
I think this was Mr. Andre, yeah.
This is
So
this is a renewal yearly that we do with this company that does physical PT, OT, and some other support systems that we do every year that we present to the board.
All righty, and do we have a cost? I saw it, I thought at one point. Oh,
Would you like me to
goodness.
read the description?
Page
Please,
77,
yeah.
I think.
Okay, so Edu Healthcare is being provided for the Board of Education for review. This is their contract. This contract is for physical therapy services for the 21-22 school year to include, this also includes our 2021 summer school program because it falls within our school year. The rate is $75 for not more than 20 hours a week paid through general funds with partial Medicaid refund and summer school program to be paid through Esther's grant.
Thank you. So we need a maker and support.
I'll be the maker.
Thank you. Support.
I'll support.
Who was that?
That was Debbie.
Okay, Debbie. And any other discussion? See none. Mrs. Kennedy.
Crystal Beaver,
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
Yes.
Gloria Thompson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, approval of the Soylent Blazer Works contract. Mary, do you have that?
Yes, this contract is for occupational therapy services. The other one was actually PT. This one's OT services for the 21-22 school year, including our program this summer, with the bill rate of $69.91 an hour for up to 40 hours paid through general funds with partial Medicaid refund. And this is also being covered through part of Esther's grant.
Okay. I need a maker and support, please.
I'll be the maker.
All right, Ms. Scott, support.
I'll support Mrs. Thompson.
Any questions? Ms. Chambliss, go ahead.
I just wanted to know, I had emailed asking that on it says minimum hours and then it says up to 40. So is the minimum hours 40 or is it 0 to 40?
It's 0 to 40. It's up to 40 hours.
Okay.
Up to.
Wouldn't that depend, Mr. Villahat, on how many students need occupational therapy?
Yeah, they have to get a script. It's not like they just come in and they get, occupational. It's actually a process that they have to go through in order to qualify for that.
Okay. Any other questions? Seeing no hands, Mary Kennedy.
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
Yes.
Crystal Beaver,
Yes.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Gloria Thompson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, next on the agenda.
So the next thing we added for holidays coming up.
Okay.
So Board of Education meetings schedule as follows. So we have 4th of July, which is being observed on July 5th. That's the first Monday of the month. We would like to move it to July 6th. Then we also have Labor Day coming up. We're going to do them all in one time. Labor Day is coming up in September, and we would delay it one day to the Tuesday due to Labor Day being Monday. So the new dates would be July 6th and September 7th. That way we can post it on our website and everything set before it in advance.
So we need a maker and support.
I'll make it.
Mr. Holcomb.
I'll support it.
Was that Mrs. Beaver?
No, it's me.
Sorry.
It's okay.
And any other discussion? Seeing none. Mary, you're up.
Gloria Thompson,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
Yes.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Crystal Beaver.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Next up is approval of August 30th, 2021 is the first day of school for students for the 21-22 school year. Mrs. Kennedy, do you have any info on that?
All I know is that
Where's-
due to the COVID, that's why they were requesting earlier start date than the day after Labor Day.
We're recommending the 30th, Madam President, because if you notice our extended summer school plan, just barely gets out on the 13th, and we do need our staff for their mental health time to recuperate from that. And it's the board's prerogative to set the start date of the start of school, and parents need to plan for their summer vacations and stuff like that. Everything else is bargainable with the teachers union. However, the start of the year is reserved for the right of the school board to decide on. We're recommending August 30th as the first day for students to return to school.
Okay, so I need a maker and support.
Madam President, I'll make the motion.
Was that Debbie?
Yes.
Mrs. Ott, yep.
Okay, thank you. And support?
I'll support.
Miss
I beat you to it, Mr. Holcomb.
Okay, any discussion? I can't see a thing, my screen went blank, so you have to speak up. I don't hear anything, so Mrs. Kennedy, go ahead.
Okay, Crystal Beaver,
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Mark Holcomb,
Yep, yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
Yes.
Gloria Thompson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, next thing on the agenda, approval of the Keys Grace Charter Amendment. Mr. Abdullahat, I'm going to assume you're taking that.
Yes, so we are recommending, and we have reviewed the analysis, the academic trends of Keys Grace Charter. And let me just share a few points of academic progress with the board. They have, in 2019, 43% of their students have that have taken the WIDA have scored a 4.5 or higher on their score. Now, in order for you to exit ESL, in order for you to be counted as a FLEP, you need an overall score of 4.8. So they're right there demonstrating growth. In 2020, 49.8% of their students demonstrated a 4.5 or higher. Going back from 2016 to 2019, percent of English language learners taking WIDA had a progress. They went from 16% to 24% to 29%. What I really like about the charter agreement is that they're providing a support for a clientele of refugees and immigrants that are coming to the country 3, 4, sometimes 5 grades behind. And just to give you a little bit of understanding, it takes for basic intercommunication skill, the ability to speak English, and where might cause you to think, oh, this kid is good, he doesn't need ESL. That could be 6 months to a year. But to actually acquire cognitive academic language proficiency takes 14 years. And so they are servicing students, and their students are growing. They might not be at grade level. However, they are demonstrating years worth of growth. And that's all we could ask. You know, having someone coming to you at a 2nd grade level, they're not going to go from 2nd grade to 8th grade, right? They're going to, but if they could go from a year's worth of growth, then over time, they will get caught up. So my recommendation to the board is that we accept this charter agreement, and I'm very pleased with the data that I reviewed and that I'm reviewing with you. So if you have any questions for me about the data that could help answer, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Okay, can we, do we have the motion, and then we can have discussion? How about that?
Madam President, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Is there support?
I'll support.
Okay, Mrs. Thompson. And any questions? Mrs. Thompson.
I'm just curious, what is the agreement? It says Grace Charter Agreement. I
So-
didn't get a copy of the agreement.
We are their fiscal, yeah, you did. Mr. Urban sent it to you. He sent it to all of us. You had to download it. Yep, remember when he
Okay.
had Dropbox, it was in that agreement. He also
Okay.
gave us some information that as attorney-client privilege that he shared.
That's right.
Right. Basically, we have to be the authorizer for the charter, right? And we are their fiscal agent. So the money flows through us. We do get a 3%, I believe it's 3%, for being their fiscal agent. And currently their charter agreement expires in 2025. But we really, the rationale is they're not in direct competition with us, right? They provide a support to a clientele that we don't. I would say 80% of their students are either Wayne or Macomb County.
Okay.
And so they provide door-to-door service where they'll pick up the students. We don't provide that door-to-door service. Without having that, there's a certain group of Arab Americans and Chaldean Americans that are not being serviced that Keys Grace does service and service as well.
Okay. Mrs. Scott, go ahead.
Mr. Abdulhad, you brought up that was going to be my question. So their current contract doesn't expire till 2025. Why are we looking at this now?
We have a great relationship, and I don't see why we shouldn't extend. It benefits us. It gives us a 10-year trajectory of revenue that's coming in that is averaging 130,000 per year. And if you factor then in for 10 years, that's $1.3 million. That why wouldn't you? I mean, if I could do 20 years, I would do 20 years. But you would want that revenue coming in. It's a great partnership. So that's my recommendation.
Okay, Ms. Chambliss, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna ask a question, but I think Crystal might be asking it because I was asking it earlier. It was in my email, Mr. Abdulhad. What does it cost us to be the fiscal guidance for them or whatever?
Cost you nothing.
I'm drawing a blank, I'm sorry, but
to be their fiscal agent.
Yes, thank you.
Charter, we actually get 3% of all their FTE money. So we get about $130,000 a year just by being their fiscal agent. The money comes to us, we pass it down, we keep our 3%.
And this is separate from the sale.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But once the sale goes through, it definitely is in our benefit.
It's
to have this
absolutely,
contract.
absolutely. It's you know, there's not a direct competition or direct threat. And so that's it's a win-win for both parties.
Got it. But Ms. Scott and then Ms. Beaver?
Mr. Abdulhad, was it their idea or our idea to look at this, redo this contract before it actually expired?
I'm not sure how the discussion started. It might have been their recommendation, but I can't just off the top of my head. I guess I don't want to guess. I believe it was their recommendation at first. However, I can't speak definitely to that, Ms. Scott.
And Mrs. Beaver, did you have another question?
Well, you had asked my one about is the extension of the charter agreement depending on the sale of Edison. And then my other question, Mr. Abdulhad, is I know you had said, so I just wanted to confirm, we don't have any expenditures with having them, correct?
Currently, we have expenditures. We have to pay all their utilities currently right now. But when we complete the sale of the building, we have no expenditures at all whatsoever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else? Seeing none, Mrs. Kennedy, you are up.
Beth Scott,
Yes.
Gloria Thompson,
Yes.
Crystal Beaver,
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Deborah Ott.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next up, personnel report. Mr. Thiel, you're up.
All right. Let's see. So we have a few new hires. We have Chris Ublor, who's a teacher at Wilkinson Middle School. He's starting next school year. Reem Bakayu is a bus driver. She was in the district previously, left and came back. Shantae Johnson's a new custodian at the high school. She started today. A couple resignations. Donna Wertheimer, our payroll specialist. Ben Harwood, middle school principal. Sarah Cummings, district nurse. 2 retirements, Linda Herquette, paraprofessional at MES, and Leslie Rennie Kagenbein, the principal at Madison High School. And that's it.
Okay, so we need maker and support, please.
Madam President, I'll make the motion.
Mrs. Ott, support, please.
I'll support this Beth.
Ms. Scott, support. Discussion. I guess I would just like to add up, I've known personally Linda Herquette for multiple decades. And she has been a wonderful person and friend. And I know she was, that she will be missed. And Mrs. Kigabein at the high school, I believe I was around when she first came. So all the years that they were here, I saw the good that they did. I know Mr. Harwood is leaving. I wish him well. And I just want to say that especially to the retirees, I wish you good health to enjoy those days ahead. Anybody else? Mr. Holcomb, go ahead.
Yes, Leslie at the high school, I wish you the best of luck in your retirement. Ben Harwood, thank you so much for what you do with the operators engineers at the middle school. I appreciate it. You're a good man, and I wish you the best of luck in your new job. And Mrs. Harquette, yes, I think her daughter and my daughter went to school together. I wish you the best of luck also.
Okay, Ms. Beaver, go ahead.
I'm not gonna go into big detail because I don't want to start sobbing, but I just want to let Miss Leslie know how much we love her and how I wish her the very best.
Okay. Is that all? Okay, I don't want to minimalize that by saying is that all, but can we call for a vote, please?
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
No.
Crystal Beaver,
Yes.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Gloria Thompson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next is the check register approval, and I believe that the number I have in front of me has been updated. So Mrs. Kennedy, can we have the final number, please?
Which number are you, the monthly expenditures?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I thought that it was updated.
Yes, the number I have is $2,421,432.88.
Mary, will you break it down for the board?
Okay, so accounts payable, the expenditures for the month of May for accounts payable was $221,466.11. Payroll came out to $362,778.49. Wire transfers were $450,820.53. And the debt wire, the SBLF, was $1,386,367.75 for the total of $2,421,432.88.
So that big number, Madam President, is the debt services one. That's why, just want to make sure that's not.
Okay, we can ask a question once we get a maker and support. So do we have one of each?
I'll make the motion.
All right, and support, please.
I'll support.
I'm not sure who was talking.
It was
Mr. Holcomb?
Gloria.
Oh, Gloria. Okay, Mrs. Thompson, sorry. And, okay, I'm gonna ask the first obvious question, debt services. Can we explain that, please?
Yes, I can. SBLF stands for School Bond Loan Fund. Excuse me. The district borrowed funding from the Michigan Department of Treasury in the past, and we have to pay that back. So we had to pay back $1.3 million. And that's what you see right there. We paid it out in May. And so, you know, we have to put it on we have to include it.
Awesome. Okay, any other questions? Seeing none. Mrs. Kennedy, can you call roll, please?
Gloria Thompson,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
No.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss,
No.
Crystal Beaver.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, next we have committee reports. GRC is first one up.
We have none. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay, next, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee.
That would be me, and I haven't attended a meeting since I decided to stay on the board on that.
Okay, thank you.
I thought, Ms. Thompson, that you stepped down and I took your spot from Rebecca
That's
with the
for-
DEI.
This is for the city.
Yeah, this is.
You said DEI.
different
You said
one.
DEI.
So we need you're talking about the HREC, Gloria?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is for
So
the.
I was like, what did I do?
There's so many going on and it's so late.
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't think we were aware of that, but then that needs to be added to this list on the
well,
agenda.
it's actually a city.
It's
a city
actually a
committee.
city one. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
okay.
getting
But-
tired.
I know, but
I feel ya.
the HREC is requesting for a school board member to be on it.
Gloria
So,
is going to
right.
be our.
Well,
All right, then it needs to be added to the
It
list.
needs to be added to the list.
You got it.
Got it. Okay. Brain fog, sorry. Okay, so no meeting, Parks and Rec.
Their meetings are coming up this month and I'll report when I go to the next meeting.
Okay. Starting, board comments. Let's start with Mrs. Chambliss this time.
I just wanted to say a huge congratulations to the Gager family. He is one of my son's favorite teacher and they welcomed a baby girl in this week. And the Cawley family also welcomed a newborn baby recently. I wanted to say a huge congratulations to the graduates of 2021. I attended their ceremony as the first time as a board member and I couldn't believe, like, I got teary-eyed multiple times for even students I didn't know. They were just beautiful. They were smiling from ear to ear. They were just magical. And some of them danced when they got their diploma. And some of them, you know, did like little things, and the crowd just erupted. It was like hundreds of people at a football game. Like, they just went crazy. I can't even describe it because I never expected it. And I know they had a rough 2 years, but they came through and they did it. And I never did. Like, you did something that really is a big deal. People think that graduating high school is just something you do. No, it's an accomplishment. It is something you guys should be so proud of, because honestly, whether I know you or not, I am so proud of every student that walked across that stage the other day. As for Miss Leslie and resigning, she is an amazing human being. She's not just a great educator. She's not just a great principal. She's just a good person. And so when it comes to losing staff member, it's always hard, but to lose good people, kind people, gentle people, it's a loss. Mr. Harwood, my sons are devastated. I don't even know if my son Colton will ever be the same. And then Ms. Cummings, thank you for everything you've done to guide the district through COVID and everything else. As for everyone else, I know you're probably amazing people. You're definitely amazing people, because I've heard amazing things about you. I don't know you, and I feel unfortunate for that, but good luck in everything you do and everything you go on to do. And then lastly, I just wanted to say that I emailed questions like I was asked to do. They didn't get answered. And then I asked for invoices in the manner I was asked to do, and I didn't get them. So I'm trying my best to help build a bridge in this group, but I don't want to have to like save everything up and explode on mediation days. So I just want to say I'm trying my best here. And if I'm asking for questions in advance like I'm asked, I want them answered. And if I ask for invoices, I would appreciate getting them. That's it. That's all.
Okay. Next up, Mr. Holcomb.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to congratulate all the seniors too. That was fun. I enjoyed that too. And I'd like to congratulate the 3 middle school students that one won $250 gift card and 2 won $50 gift cards. They did awesome at the operators engineers career day. Now, Mr. Abdullah has been the superintendent for 2.5 years. And there's 3 board members that's been on the school board for 2.5 years. One's been on there for 1.5 years, and the other one's been on there for the other 3's been on for a half. And I've been hearing about the roof, how bad it's been at least 3 years. Okay, well, why don't we look at the board the previous 3 years then, and start putting some blame on them instead of this board here. Cut us some slack. We got us off the state watch list. Now we can move forward. We're gonna meet for a bond. It's gonna happen, people. Cut us some slack, please. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Scott, you're up.
Okay, well, not a couple things, it's a few things. I'm gonna say this again, this agenda is too long. We're getting the information, we're not getting the, I hate to be surprised. I'm sure everybody else hates to get surprised. I'm gonna second this with Rebecca. I did send some questions. I was looking for that to be sent in an email that they never got answered. I want to congratulate the softball and baseball team for a good season. I want to congratulate on a good season to the 4 times 100 relay. They, you know, like Mr. Abdullah had, they went to state finals. They did a great job. I want to congratulate the class of 2021, their parents, teachers, and the staff that helped them on their journey. Shout out to Miss Leslie for a great job. You are and will be missed. I can't even imagine next year at the high school without you. I want to thank Mr. Ben Harwood and congratulations on his new journey. The impact that you've made on students did not go unnoticed, and I am sad to see you go. Sarah Cummings, in my opinion, best nurse we've had in this district. I'm sad to see her go. Thanks for all your help during a scary time for everyone in the district, especially, questions that I've had with Amelia. Good luck on your new journey. Thank you to everyone that's hung out with us and supported us tonight, because it's been a long night again. There you go. That's it.
All righty. Miss Beaver, you are up next.
I just wanted to thank our staff. I know we're ending an extremely hard year. I know with COVID, it hasn't been easy, but they've done an amazing job this year. To our 2021 graduates, I want to congratulate you guys again. It was truly humbled to be by your side at your ceremony. To our parents, we've almost made it through the year. It's almost summertime, hang in there. And then lastly, I kind of added this at the end. Mr. Abdullah, I know that they had mentioned during the summer school presentation that they were going to be collecting some data at the beginning and middle and end. I was wondering if you could share that data with us after summer school so we could see what our amazing team accomplished during that. And that's all.
All righty, Mrs. Thompson, you're up next.
I just want to congratulate the class of 2021. I was not able to attend. I was at my own grandson's graduation, who graduated summa cum laude, by the way. We're very proud of him. He's already been accepted into the veterinary school at Michigan State. So I'd like to congratulate all the retirees. I know what a wonderful time in your life that is, because I'm also a retiree. Mr. Harwood, congratulations on your new job. Sarah, like everybody said, we're going to be sad to see you go. Other than that, have a good evening, because it's getting late.
All righty, and with that, Mrs. Ott, go ahead, the floor.
I just wanted to congratulate the class of 2021. I was not able to attend this year, but I've attended in the past, and it is very humbling, and I did enjoy it. I want to welcome all the new hires to the district, and congratulations to Linda and to Leslie on their retirements. I'm semi-retired, so I semi feel what you're going to be feeling. Ben, Donna, and Sarah, congrats. Good luck on your new positions. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and sticking with us. And I would like to reiterate or thank Mr. Holcomb for his words, because it is true. We have tried our best. We didn't vote in ways people wanted us to vote, and we've taken a beating. But hey, we're public servants. We got tough skin, but you're right. We're doing our best, and we will continue to try and do our best for this district and the students. And that's it. Have a good night.
Thank you. And I will wrap this up. I want to say, as far as the roof and the bond, and people that are concerned, of course, we want safe buildings for our kids. I wanted safe buildings when my 3 kids went through, and they were. Safe is the key word. My understanding is still this school is safe. And that's where the peril lies, in getting flowery and overemphasizing. And we will fix it. No one ever said that we weren't. How we got there was the discussion. So anybody that thinks that any of the 7 of us sitting here wants their children or our staff in peril, that's just a ludicrous statement or assumption, and it's really unfair. Mr. Abdullah has never said or ascertained that he wants his staff in an unsafe building. You made your point. We understood. You can pick it all you want. It doesn't change that maybe our years of experience in life on, you know, our life skills that we're bringing maybe have a little bit of justification in our thought process as well. I guess no one here is giving us the benefit of the doubt. That's okay. I feel confident in what I've done and I know where we're going. The other thing is the invoices can be gotten from Mrs. Thompson at any time. We've made that very clear. That's the process. If you don't get it, let me know. I would be glad to follow up. If we have email problems, I was out of town. If it was emailed to me, I didn't get it. I was out of town and incommunicado. If we need to still work on that, then we need to still work on that. This is obviously a two-way street and we're gonna continue to work hard to make it better. I truly do believe that, or I wouldn't be staying here 4 hours in, you know, to the meeting ending. With that, I would like to hear a motion to close this meeting.
I'll make the motion.
And I'll support.
Okay.
I was gonna try to beat you to it, Mark, but I won't take that one from you.
Thank you.
You already have your pajamas on, don't you, Mark?
Not yet.
Mr. Holcomb's the maker and Miss Scott is the support. Any discussion? All righty, Mrs. Kennedy.
Crystal Beaver,
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss,
Yes.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Deborah Ott,
Yes.
Beth Scott,
Yes.
Gloria Thompson.
Yes.
Motion passes, meeting adjourns at 10:58.
Good night,
Good
everybody.
night.
Hi, guys.
Hey,
Thanks,
good
everyone.
night,
Good night.
Mary.
Mary,
Bye.
you,
Good night.
for everyone, okay, at the same time, Mary, and the meeting at the same time for everyone.